Ladies and gentlemen, before we do too much else, I got to show off a couple of things. Hi, Brooklyn. I'm sorry you had to deal with so much food crap. Sympathy hugs. Hey, the World Nebula. I understand the problem there, and I hope you're doing better. Greetings. Hi, Ismaristar. I did a bunch of really tiny changes, which nobody's going to notice. Just really, really little things, like adding the spear here to skewer the food with, or the fork, you know. It takes so much work to make a fork lay on something like that. Anyways. But there's two things I want to show off before we actually move forward. Because I actually did forget to review two aspects of housing. And then we'll move on, I swear. We're not actually doing Zulamon today because I want to do that in one go. And I kind of, you know, don't think we have time tonight. So we'll do something else. Don't worry, I've got an idea. Let's go, let's go. Moving on. So let's go home. Alright, here we go. Home sweet home. Like you do. Hang on. Let's show off that lighting first really quick. There we go. There we go. Ah, yeah. It's much better. Much better. Okay, so... by the way, for those of you not aware, we will be doing a second housing showcase during the Patch Night stream. So if anybody wants to continue updating or adding to, you know. Anyways. So there's two things I wanted to show off. One is that I'm really sick of my back hurting. The other is how you could change the walls. So as you can see, there's actually a lot of options here. Like a lot. Here, actually, hang on. Let me go do this really quick. Let me turn the light back up to natural so you can really see what's going on here. There we go. You can also apply to all, like that, which is a great button. And yeah, we also have the ceiling, which we can turn into all kinds of stuff. I can just make that silver moon up there, you know. Maybe rugged. They're adding a bunch of these in the next patch, by the way, which, for those of you who didn't catch it, is confirmed to be August 11th. And that's going to be awesome. They've got, like, I think there was a silver moon and something else. There's an orc one. But the one I really liked, most of all, was the Westfall one. The new Westfall stuff looks really cool. So we can do, like, generic. Gotta have the generic ceiling. Or we're gonna have, like, Silver Moon Dark. Alright. And then Silver Moon Marble. Yes! Yes! Or we could have, like, rugged wood up there. Or we could have hide. I mean, that looks like a Silver Moon ceiling, right? Hide plus gold. Stuff like that. But hang on. Whoops, didn't mean to hit that. But, as Bragon also pointed out, you can vault your ceiling. Which means it's got, like, a little... Well, it's a vaulted ceiling. I don't know what you want from me. There we go. And then, like... I'll set that up like that. Set these up over here. I do have all the Silver Moon stuff. I guess I could show that off a little. We could have cottage. We could have stuff. We could have stucco. Stucco, actually, I think. Whatever. Etched marble. Gotta have that. Let's just apply that everywhere. Let's apply that everywhere. There we go. So yeah, walls, ceiling. Good stuff. Good stuff. There's one last thing I haven't shown up. It's a button we haven't even seen before. It's this wonderful mode. You've probably been wondering, how do you stop having a single room in your house? Behold. There's a lot to this. Like, a lot. As you can see, we've got the floor navigator over here, because as you've already seen, you can have multiple stories. This is the kind of stuff we can add to here. And if you just pop, it's there. Like, it's already there. Behold. Check it out. So... and also just kind of be like, you know what? I feel like moving that over here. There we go. There we go. Or, you know what? I feel like just deleting that. Just get out of existence. Be gone. So we got pre-built stairs, we've got the stair room empty, we've got a T-shaped room, which we can do. It looks like that. It's good for hallways. We actually do have hallways. And L rooms, of course. We've got medium octagon. What's a large octagon? Jeez, that's huge. Small octagon, we'll put that over here. Tiny room. Oh, we can't fit that there. What a closet. Oh, we can fit a closet there. There we go, perfect. Nah, let's see what else. Over here, we'll go ahead and put a cross-shaped room, and that will lead outside. Dark, but it'll also lead... Aw. No, it won't lead there. Maybe if I do... Yeah, I'm trying to break it. Let's break the system. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. You can rotate stuff, too. I haven't shown that off yet. You know what? Let's get rid of this room. There we go. Let's make a long hallway here, and then another long hallway. There we go. Then we'll set up the tea room. Let's rotate that. There we go. And we've got the... There we go. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Get some eldritch stuff going on here. All right. And now we got all this crap, which we're going to look around at. Whee! And now no path available. Yeah, if you're wondering why I was so impressed with all the houses we've been showing off for like the last 2 days, it's because this is what they look like when you haven't done anything to them. They're kind of bare, you know. Little less designed. What are your questions, Scott? There we go. So, obviously it's nighttime over here, and, mysteriously, it's also daytime over here at the same time. Don't think too much about it. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, you know what would be cool? Hang on, I just had this extremely random idea. I only have one of these, but... Oops, not what I meant to do. There we go. And then, like, there's a portal here, so it's like, aha, and that leads to outside. It doesn't work, though. It doesn't actually do anything. I don't like it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's junk. It's garbage. This might work. Then we'll go ahead. There we go. Ta-da! Maybe scooch it down a little bit. That's not down! No! Down. There we go. That. Hey, there we go. Whoosh. We go out into the daylight. Yay! Whoosh. But then over here it's nighttime. Yeah, they've added physics. I mean, they added physics in Dragonflight, but still, they've been expanding on physics. Hell, the weapons I'm using right now have physics to them. Let's see. And then, like, this over here. Same idea. Let's go ahead and scale it first. And then kind of adjust this a little bit. Wrong thing to adjust. Very important. Scooch that. Maybe scooch it up. Maybe a little more down. There. Right about there. And then. Oh no! Oh no! There's no physics! Oh no! I have. It's actually funny. I have a lot of decor. I don't have nearly enough. I have so little decor. I'll tell you what, we'll just put this in here. This feels like the correct thing to put in here. Just feels right, you know? There we go, just like that. There we go. And that's why this room looks like this. It all makes sense. Behold. Oh yeah, of course we have the Omnium. Oh, we should put this in the light room. There we go. And this is why this room is light, see? Ta-da! Okay, I'm gonna stop screwing around with this, because if I don't, I'll be here for hours. And nobody wants to see me mess with housing forever. So. Yum, yum. But yeah, I actually did do a couple things. I got the little blueprint thing and some lumber for when I actually do something with my interior. I'll come back to that. We'll circle back to that. And by we, I mean I don't want to waste your time with that. I also put a bunch of flowers over here, so like the first thing I see anytime I go home is a bunch of flowers. I couldn't think of anything more appropriate. Like, what do I put over here? What's like the thing that means home to me, you know? In World of Warcraft. I don't know. A statue of the jailer. Well, thankfully no such thing exists. I could put the Lich King thing here. Oh god, I might not have it. Yeah, I have a Soul Forge, but I don't actually have... Wow, okay. Okay, whatever. I'm happy with my little outdoor cookery. Check it out. Check it out. Oh, and I also, very minor touch, I adjusted this, so check it out. I can actually sit on it. It's the right size for a Void Elf. AKA Blood Elf. I mean, yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Lord Harriman, but I really like the idea of it being the doorway. And once I replace that with an actual floor map, or a door map, rather, I might get rid of the fire thing. I was just experimenting with that, just showing off what I could do. I've also got a little chair over here, which isn't fully functional. There we go. I can just go out and look at my farm and be like... Okay, so housing's incredible. Many positives. You may have noticed the gameplay score went up slightly. Just a couple of tidbits. 1 or 2. I wonder if I could, like, get some food in there. I put some food in the pot. What would I put in there, though? What would I put in there? Hang on, hang on. What do I got? What do I got? There's not a lot of loose food. Most food is on a plate or something, right? So, like, I could put a turkey leg in there. Wouldn't fit, but, you know, I could plop one of these in there. Large human house exterior, huh? I don't want to mess with mine. I'm pretty happy with how it looks, but I believe you. Speaking of, hey, check it out. I can finally see a real house over here from a distance. See, what I really want to do is I need to add a bunch of just doodads to the lawn. And it's almost going to be all nature stuff, right? Like, I'm just going to add a bunch of garden here. I'm probably going to have to figure out how to even make a garden work. Because, like, there's no just garden... Like, it's like Janine was doing, right? I don't just have planters. I'm going to have to invent planters, right? Or I could put an airship in my yard. That's an option. Still debating. But I do not want to waste your time. Okay, so I wanted to do one other thing. What was the other thing? Oh god, what was the other thing I wanted to do? We covered endeavors. We covered the housing materials. We covered all that stuff. Oh gosh. I've still been debating what I want to do with my horde house, because I kind of want to do something with my horde house. Not sure what to do with it. I do love the idea of an airship. I do. But, man, that's going to be a lot of work. And I'll probably never have time. So, I'll probably never do that. Yeah, WoW fixed the housing crisis. You know how they did it? They made housing free. But, like, can't you picture it? Just like an airship, like, right here or something. A little bigger than this, but still. Alright, enough. Let's get on War Runner. Okay. Usual log-off point, as usual, I suppose. So I've been thinking about the specific order in which we're going to do quests, because it's kind of weird, and I do kind of want to do them in a specific order. But like I said, as much as I actually wish we could do Zul'Aman today, I want to do Zul'Aman in one bundle, and I don't think we can finish Zul'Aman by the end of the day. So we're going to do two other things first. First is we're going to do the brickwork look for Eversong, and we're going to start with Silvermoon. Silvermoon looks amazing. It is probably one of the best story cities in video gaming. It is enormous, it is gorgeous, it follows all of the rules of city design from a story access. For those of you who didn't catch me talking about this over the FF11 review, good city is, so there's this whole thing. Forgive me for not going fully down the rabbit hole here, but there's this whole thing, right? No city in a video game is the size of a city in a video game. Doesn't exist, right? Like, even cities that come close are kind of the size of, like, a city block. And yeah, here's Murder Row, by the way. Nice place. And, hey, here's a random vendor that nobody cares about. We'll just move on from that. Just enjoying the show down here. Don't mind them.
We shall not falter.
Yeah, even in GTA. But the point here is not how big a city is. I know that sounds strange, but it really is not actually the relevance here. The relevance is how big a city feels. And I did a bit of a deep dive during the FF11 run on quite a few different cities from 1994 all the way up to 2026. And all of them were video game cities, of course, and just analyzing how they worked and how they didn't. The most obvious example I could give you, and I did give several people, was Starfield. Starfield completely screws up everything. Cities in Starfield feel really, really, really small. And that's a problem, because they're pathetic, and it hinders, right? It is a hindrance to the enjoyment of the story, and that is to say, of the story axis of the video game. So, but hold on. Oblivion cities, some Oblivion cities, do work. And keep in mind, Oblivion cities are smaller than Starfield cities. So what's the difference? Now, I wish I had visuals to show you. Like I said, I did this whole comparison back during the FF11 run. The difference is in three specific points. There's actually more than three, but the three are the big things. First is sightlines. For a city to feel big, the player can't see too much of it at once. Now, WoW's kind of an exception here. We'll leave that for the side. But the point is, when you're walking around a city in Oblivion, you're down here, right? And you see walls, and you see buildings, and you see stuff that is sightline blockers, right? This makes it feel bigger because you feel like you're actually moving around and traversing a distance, even if you're only going, like, really about 10 feet forward and not going around. The example of this for me is either Coral or Chadnall, to use Oblivion as a specific example. In both cases, you've got the central square, right? And you've got a bunch of you've got an alley, essentially, two chunks of buildings on either side. That leads to the Mages Guild. That over there is like the inn. And it kind of blocks most of the stuff around you. But you can see like a pathway going forward and a church in the distance. Okay, cool. So you can't see the whole city, so your mind kind of naturally fills in some of the gaps, right? Second point, they also do this thing where they make sure to infer stuff beyond the walls of the city. As you're looking out, this shot right here is actually almost perfect for what I'm describing. As we look out from the front gates of Silvermoon, I know it's kind of small on your screen, but if you look out there, you can see Eversong. You can see trees and forests and hills and mountains and clouds and all kinds of other stuff. You see stuff. I mean, there's the Voidstorm itself, right? But you can see stuff beyond the walls. So because of the fact that you can see that there's more to it, it helps kind of center you, right? I was talking about this again in FF11. Several of the cities, the zones in FF11 are so isolated that they feel like you're just floating in a void. There's no connective tissue to the rest of the world. Whereas in, say, like Oblivion, they do a point of having most of the rough terrain of the nearby city loaded, even when you're inside a city zone, so you can look out the walls and you can see stuff. Make sense? And the third biggest thing is having people do stuff. Now, a lot of these are generic named people, which you'd think is a mistake. Silvermoon Trader, Silvermoon Visitor. They're all doing different stuff. This woman is cleaning the bottle, the glasses. This gentleman's talking with the visitor's having some wine with the talker. And I'm not going to go down every single one of these, but let me just tell you, similar to Undermine, there is probably several teams of people who probably spent months figuring out, okay, we're going to have a noble right here, who's going to be sitting here enjoying. There's going to be a waiting staff woman who's going to be walking around carrying around a tray of wine for everybody who wants it. Yeah, ambient NPC activity, what I usually refer to as NPC set dressing. There is a tremendous amount of NPC set dressing in Oblivion. Now, let's compare and contrast by using the opposite. Starfield. What does Starfield do wrong? Now, I know most of you either haven't played Starfield or don't remember it as well as I do, and that's probably a good thing. But there's the best way to describe this is actually the tech town, the super hyper realistic weird Star Trek light town. But we're going to use the Old West town because it's more fresh in my mind, and I can describe it pretty much immediately. So the center square of the Old West town is actually a little bit smaller than this, but you've got your center square, and from the center square you can see almost the entire town. There's no real sight lines blocking your vision in any given place. In fact, in most places, as you go around the town, it's basically a circle. You just kind of go around like this. You can see most of the rest of the town, which makes it feel smaller than it is. Even though it is larger than Coral or Cheydinal, it feels smaller. Second problem is that it doesn't have a lot of blockers in terms of visibility on the outside of the town, which is good. You can look out and you can see what's outside the town. But the problem is, what's outside the town is nothing. You see this gorgeous view out here? Look at this. Let's take that in for a second. Ignore the insane amount of detail and time and effort that this whole area takes. Just take that in. Even if that was just a skybox, that's something, right? You look outside the town and you see something. In Starfield, what you'll do when you look outside town is you see nothing. It is this empty, barren wasteland in all directions. You are this town smacked down into the middle of the Sahara Desert. And it completely kills any sense of illusion. Like, it feels like you are just isolated, like I was talking about in FF11 with Juno. And the third problem is NPCs. Now, there's actually a lot of NPCs roaming around in Starfield, but they all suck. In fact, if you remember, during the stream, I made it a point of following one specific NPC around for quite a while, 5 or 6 minutes. He never did anything. He just walked around forever until finally he didn't even hit a door. He just vanished into thin air at one point when his script finally stopped running. All of this boils down to, look at this, there's just a woman, look at her, she's just carrying a bunch of books here. Where is she carrying the books? I don't know. There's a broom. This is Mr. Red's broom. You can see because it's got a red handle there. The sheer amount of time and effort this stuff takes. You remember how it took me a decent chunk of this morning to set up my one little tiny outdoors kitchen, which I'm not even done with? Now imagine setting up just all of this. Part of the reason I value and give credit for these kind of things isn't just the fact that they improve the enjoyment of the game, which is the definition of a positive, but also because this is a lot of work. This is a tremendous amount of work and effort being put in to make these places look, feel, and sound, I guess, bigger than they actually are. Oh, God. So, that brings us to Silvermoon. Now, WoW is in a really weird space because WoW cheats. The general rule is that you want to do all the things I talked about. Interior space is another thing you do. I don't want to get into that. Oblivion had a lot of good interior spaces. Starfield had very little. A lot of the buildings in Starfield you either couldn't go into, or the space you could go into is actually like 10% of the total volume of the building, which also makes it feel small. But anyways, the reason World of Warcraft cheats is because you actually can navigate the entire city. It's actually there. So, for example, you know, one of the rules I mentioned is you shouldn't be able to see the whole city at once. Well, you can see all of Silvermoon at once. The thing is, it works because Silvermoon looks like that. It is absolutely bonkers. WoW is kind of proving the rule by exception here, because the sheer amount of scale going on here is absolutely insane. I can't even think about how long Silvermoon took to do them. This is bonkers. You thought Undermine was bad. Oh my god. Look at this place. And a lot of these places have interior spaces, and almost every spot in this entire city has NPCs doing something. And tons of doodads and tons of visuals. And it's just insane. There's even a visiting professor there. Hello, visiting professor. Ah! The Magistrix is really mad because of all this stuff. Look at this. How am I supposed to teach like this? Yeah, I'm with you, lady. I'm sorry. It's okay. The novices are over here taking notes. While taking notes. While the professor is giving a lecture. Right in front of a monocrystal. Hang on, let's get some practical application magic here going on. Oh god, it's really taking a lot out of them. They must have, like, 20 mana. I guess they are just starting their college career, so that makes sense. Oh, tell me about Osmir Star. Death Knight's another good one, Papa Dinks. Sporting goods.
My goods are one of a kind.
Interesting.
Return when you need more.
You get the idea, right? So obviously Silvermoon is absolutely bonkers incredible. And similar to Undermine, we have a bit of a precedent for how we're going to review something that is this good on this scale. I'm going to break it down into region. So before I actually do that, I want to talk about the gameplay axis. The best city in this game from a gameplay perspective is, and has been for a long time, Dalaran. Because Dalaran, from a purely gameplay perspective, has pretty much everything you need to do right next to each other. There are multiple good hearth spots. There's 2 banks, which are right equidistant from each other. The crafting section's right up there, and the portal hub is right over there, and the launch off point is right over there, and it's just sitting there in the middle of everything. The only town that it came close to Dalaran is Valdrakken, and that was for kind of slightly unrelated reasons. Silvermoon is not bad. I do think Silvermoon, from a gameplay perspective, is better than Dornogal. So, this area right over here is the crafting section. If you want to do anything crafting, it's right here. For whatever reason, that also dovetails into the mythic section. I don't know why, don't ask me. But this is the crafting area. Oosh. Over here, we have the gear section, for lack of a better way to put it. So over here we have our 3 weeklies, technically 4 with the housing weekly. We've got the bank, which also has the vault right here. And if we scooch a little bit further over here, we have the gear upgraders. So this is like the gear row right here, right? In the middle of this giant building in the very center is a lot of the quest starters. If you want to advance the MSQ, there's a pretty good chance you want to go in here at some point. Right up here's the portals. There's only 2 portals, but that makes sense because right now Orgrimmar and Stormwind are the portal hubs. So, yeah. Right here is our main hearth point. So if you're going to be hearthing or using the Argentina, which you should do, it'll put you out right here, which is reasonably close to all this stuff. And finally, over here we have the auction house, right here. And right above it is the Delve Quarter. And coincidentally enough, right next to the Delve stuff is the Traveler's Log stuff, which is right over here. And that's kind of it. That's all the gameplay-y stuff. There's a few other things, like there's the PvP district over there. The decor stuff is over there. And Prey, I should show off Prey as well, because Prey's kind of important. Just gonna scooch down here. And here's Prey. It's pretty obvious. It's the only spot in the whole city that has glowing eldritch death stones of evil and hate. Also, the music's noticeably different. Oh yeah, this city beats Stormwind right in the teeth. Now, you may have noticed that the distance between these things is relatively large. That actually makes sense considering this city was designed from the ground up with flying in mind, dragon flying specifically. If you think about it, let's say I just hearth and I go over here, and I'm at the bank. This is not a small distance from the bank, and just to really emphasize that, let's assume that this was, you know, in an existence before dragon flying, okay? So this is what it would be like. We get on our mount. That was only about 20 seconds or so. But let me tell you, that's going to get old the 50th time you do it, right? So you can see what I mean when I say all of this was designed around the idea that you're going to do this. And you're here. 3 seconds. Oh, I want to go upgrade my gear. And you're here. You get my point? I've said this before, several zones in this game are very clearly designed with flying in mind, and this is no exception. And yeah, I should show off the interior of the tavern, because there's quite a bit. Oh, what's this strange portal? I wouldn't worry too much about that. Let's just relax here. Yeah, it's a little book club there. It's kind of chilling. Infinity mode. I've never even heard of that. Although that doesn't surprise me. Nice little private. Oh, hello. Private bed chambers. Some mana gems and a comb. 2 combs, actually. Guys, I need a 4th person to tell me I can go to Astalor from the tavern. Because I don't think I've gotten the message yet. I love that. Oblivious aristocrat. Hey, look, here's a way to... I'm not going to go down. I'm just going to spite you. I'm just going to do this out of spite. I refuse to go down here. I do wonder a little bit. You walk around and there's a lot of nobles. Do they have people that aren't nobles? Like, is this one of those places where the noble percentage is really high in terms of population? I'm just wondering. Now, Silvermoon also cheats a little bit. You see this stretch of terrain I'm going over? You notice it's a little bit emptier than most of it. That's because this is actually a dungeon. So there are some NPCs here, and there are some doodads, but this is a little bit different because they did double dipping. This is actually very smart of them. By having part of the city also be part of the dungeon, they can effectively stretch their budget, both in time and in actual money. In other words, you're billing it to 2 separate things, right? It's more efficient that way. And of course, we can use this to go up. And here's the castle. I haven't really been up here much, because there's not a lot to do up here. Since Lorthamar's down there in the trenches doing his freaking job. Yes, we have some notables here. Mage Trainer, the Shattered Sun Captain, I had to think about that for a second. Belisra's hanging out up here. No, I haven't seen that Trihexia. I wonder if that's any good. And of course, we've got strawberry cake, strawberry pie, strawberry wine, and some grapes and cheese. Why cheese with all this? God. I mean, we've all said it. The reason they have the Horde Alliance distinction is just to silence idiots on Twitter. Let's just be real about that. Oh yeah, no, that's where they chill. When Lorthamar's done doing his real job down there, he's like, all right, Belisra. First he has the strawberry, then he has dessert. What? No judgment. So, hang on. I have a million billion things to cover here. Let me scroll up a little bit. Let's look at this. Okay. Pretty much just a red. I mean, Lord, you remember how I was talking about how one of the reasons Nintendo kind of lucked into having good leadership is a lot of their leaders are people who came up from the trenches? Well, that's Lorthamar. Dude was a frontliner, more or less literally in the trenches. And yeah, it probably helps that Lorthamar and Haldron have been friends for an extremely long time. Relatively speaking. Oh my goodness. God, look at this place. Just look at it. Take it in for a second. Good God. What I'm most impressed by is how much they managed to vary the color palette up. You look at that and you see white, gold, and red. But look at how much thought and effort was put into making sure that there's never too much red or gold or white in any given situation. Evo could tell you more about this, but you want to break up colors, right? You don't want there to just be this blob of any given color in space because it makes your eyes just kind of bounce off of it, right? Having so much outlining in the design makes every area look distinct. It adds to visual distinction, and it makes it easier to make out individual spots amongst all the other rest of the what otherwise would be noise. You notice there's like this turquoise kind of thing, different shades of green for the different types of foliage that's here and there. There's a bit of blue over by the Sunwell, the central plaza over there. Do you see that there's like curtains over there, which kind of helped add to it? There's like a really, really bright white gold only on a couple of the towers, not all of them. Some of the towers actually have this kind of more bronzish look instead of like a true gold look, etc., etc. Hang on, let me do a quick fly through here. Ah, the wrong mount equipped. If I had to make a Warcraft movie, if you put a gun to my head and said, make a movie, and I'm like, don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. Let me think about that for a minute. Because there's a lot of possibilities there. The easiest and most obvious answer is to just do Warcraft 2 as a movie. I actually think Warcraft 2 would fit a movie format pretty well. Nice little touch, by the way, if you go over here. Just some wanted posters. One of which is for a demon, by the way. one of which is for a goblin. Warlock over here just hanging out with his incubus. No judgment, no judgment. Yeah, this is where all the non-nobles go, down here to Murder Row. Even Silvermoon has its dregs. It's not as bad as, you know, real life. Well, even other places within Warcraft, but they do still have dregs. Just, you know, casual street fights going on. I am vaguely amused. They've got some security around here, but they've also got a first aid dude whose job is just to sit there and make sure that, you know, they don't die. Let's see, what can we offer you? We have weapons.
Treat my wares with care.
So there's slice and dice. I put my money on dice, personally. Nice little animal smuggler here. And don't worry if your desired breed requires special licensing for purchase. We are more than happy to have that small inconvenience sorted for you. For a price, naturally.
May my goods serve.
And there's a lot of animals in here, too. A lot of random stuff. Like a bejeweled crab. Aw. Yeah, the poor fairy dragon down there, lower left. I like the two nobles trying to bond with a nether whelp. A freaking nether whelp. Yeah. You like gems? We got gems.
Are you planning a purchase?
We got gems.
Return when you need more.
Would you like some gems? Yeah, Brightwing will show them the happiness of their insides.
My goods are one of a kind.
There's the shady art dealer. Doesn't sell the specific one here, don't worry about it. Autographed painting of Anduin. Uh-huh.
Our time.
Oh yeah, Madame Goya's over here. Of course. Very above board stuff going on over here, as you can see.
My goods are one of a kind. Treat my wares with care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with Warcraft 2. If I was to do a series of Warcraft movies, I might pick a few others. But if I only get one ever, Warcraft 2 feels like the correct choice there. Now, if I lived in this setting, what role would I want? What profession? What job? That's actually a tricky one. It's not the same as asking your class. There's a lot of things you can do in this setting. Now, an idea I've had for quite a while is to be a tavern patron. Probably in one of the specific areas where, you know, there's actually some... I don't know, it's cozy, good food, call for demand, that kind of a thing. So I probably wouldn't set up in Silvermoon, for example. Maybe Orgrimmar? I don't know, something like that. Yes, Medivh died in Warcraft 1, Jupiter. We even killed him. Not enough. Yeah, like a job, that's sure. Like a tavern keeper. Silvermoon is probably legitimately a nice place to live. It is. Magister. Well, the interesting thing is, Magister is like saying manager. What are you the manager of? Is this here right now? Yeah. Ignore this. Ignore this. Ignore it. Don't stare too closely at it. Sorry. Something actually amuses me. the horde symbol in the garden there. As if there was any doubt where Silvermoon lies, it has its loyalties these days. Over here we have the hatchery, lots of flames, of course. Because Dragonhawks are magical creatures. PvP section down here. I don't spend a lot of time here. I think that might be everything. Oh my god, Ross. I hope you like it, because if you don't... Interesting. Well, as we in the business say, no spoilers, Ross, but let me know what you think as you go. Oh, hey, another fighting ring, except this time it's paladins. Here? I've been lied to. Why would you lie to me as Mirstar? Why? I'm gonna go here. Still not seeing anyone. God, I have no idea what this Mirstar is talking about. Oh, I would much rather live in Azeroth than in real life. 10 times out of 10. 100 times out of 100. Real life sucks. Azeroth has indoor plumbing. I'll take it. Let's go. Distinct building in the Walk of Elders. If it's tier 3 insertion, then, oh god, yes. But honestly, I'd still take that even if it wasn't. Yeah, Azeroth tends to get better over time. Something you've probably never heard of because you also live in real life. Wow. I haven't seen these people since BC.
May the eternal sun shine upon
Someone's got to keep an eye on these elves, even after all these years. Nice to get all together with old friends now and again. One gets used to the luxuries of a city like this. To be honest, this place is getting kind of boring before everything started going wrong. Yeah, okay, it's pretty. What else you got?
Embrace the shadow.
Honestly, I'd still take it, Ross. I'm sorry. Let's see. Giant cataclysmic environmental threat that's threatening the life of everyone on the planet. And in real life, everyone debates if it actually exists and continues to make it even worse while everyone around them suffers. And in Azeroth, everyone unifies in order to try and stop it as quickly as possible. Huh. No, I'm sorry. I'll still take Azeroth. When is important, though. There are specific periods of history where I would not want to live in Azeroth. Because, yeah. Pretty much any time before Warcraft 3 is an automatic no. Just flat out. And then Warcraft 3 itself is kind of cataclysmic. So, you know. After Warcraft 3, well, we're getting there. And yeah, there's specific places where it's like, ah! Like, if you ended up in, I don't know, random example, Silithus, right? Maybe just start walking, right? Just you're going to have a bit of a trek. You have to get through Ungoro Crater on foot. That's going to suck. And then you're going to go through Tannerus. That's going to suck. But maybe just start walking. Just trust me. Because then you can head through what at the time was the Thousand Needles, and you get up to the Barrens, which, believe it or not, is actually doing a little bit, better at the time. And then you can eventually end up in Mulgar. And Mulgar's legit, so hey, we'll just settle there. Best possible place to set up? I mean, Pandaria. The whole continent, really, but most especially the Valley of the Four Winds. This is basically paradise. It's a bit of an artificial paradise, but that doesn't change the fact that it's basically paradise. Like, alright. Settle in. Good food. Good friends. It's kind of a chill life, you know. And yeah, there's several other places that would be pretty good, depending on the timeline. Okay. Did I finish? I finished. So... yeah, being protected by actual dragons who have a vested interest in protecting you is not terrible.
Our honored guest has returned. How delightful. Let us raise our glasses in good cheer.
Oh no, Dragon House is actually pretty legit. They only recently have had any real issues, and those were washed. Like, the real question for me is where in the Dragon House, because there's a lot of options there. I mean, the easiest answer is the Honorin Plains, but I have to admit, I'd be tempted by the Azure Span. The only reason I wouldn't default to the Azure Span is because I can't stand the smell of seafood, which makes me very sad, because I bet the Tuscar, the Iskarans, would be awesome. Worst possible place to live in Warcraft. Let's assume Shadowlands does not exist. Good thing to assume. So if we immediately eject Shadowlands from existence, I mean, there's several places on Outland which would not be very pleasant to live in. Because it's not even a planet at this point. Like, imagine one day you trip and, oh, you're falling through the nether, and we're not actually 100% sure what happens to you. Have fun. But if we limit ourselves to just Azeroth... Oh god, Argus. No. Yeah, hang on, let me think about this for a second. Worst place in Azeroth. See, the funny thing is, I could probably live with several places in Northrend, but more the southern coast, you know. The Tundra and the Howling Fjord and the Grizzly Hills would probably be fine, right? The more north you go, the less that sentence is true. I would not want to live in Storm Peaks or Ice Crown. Yeah, Grizzly Hills would be legit, honestly. As long as you can stand the smell of pine. So, of the worst places... Again, timeline kind of matters. But just sort of vaguely off the top of my head. Aj-Kahet would probably not be very fun. If you're not, you know, already in good with the Nerubians. Excuse me. Silithus, we just talked about that. Not super pleasant. Excuse me. I wouldn't particularly want to live in the Badlands, the Burning Steppes, or the Searing Gorge. Just all three of the surrounding things of Blackrock right there. Just like in real life, I want as little to do with Blackrock as possible. Obviously, there's the Plague Lands, although there's a bit of a question mark as to the current status of the Plague Lands. But assuming the Plague Lands are still there, yeah, that would suck. Yeah, Undermine for the same reason. Vashir, I mean, it's underwater. Alright, congrats, you're in Azeroth. Bad news! You're in the Tenebrous Cavern. Have fun getting to the surface, and then going anywhere from the surface. God, that would just be like monkey's paw right there, wouldn't it? So yeah, worst places, Silithus, Ice Crown. I suppose I should add the Dread Wastes to that list. Nazmir, also known as the Blood Swamp. If I need to explain any more, it's called the Blood Swamp. Speaking of which, I love the zone. I would not want to live in Drustvar. I'm good. Thanks. And I kind of skipped over the Broken Isles. That's because most of this is actually fine. But the Broken Shore itself... Yeah, Vol'dun would also be kind of unpleasant. It is kind of a horrible death desert of doom. But I was asked worst town to live in. Or worst city, actually, which is different. So the worst city to live in. Before BFA, it's probably Darnassus, but that's kind of a joking answer. Also before BFA, Undercity. Yeah, Shadowlands doesn't exist, Ronnie. No, I'm thinking like big cities, but not just a town. So like, none of the cities here are really bad on any level, so we'll just skip past that. Stormwind is fine, I guess. Ironforge would be hot, but otherwise probably pretty legit. Undercity would suck. Let's just get that out of the way. I don't know. Borealis is probably fine. You would definitely get in leg day at Dazar'alor. What do we got here? Dornogal, we just talked about that. Dornogal will be fine. Gnomeregan. Yeah, well, so we got Undercity and Gnomeregan. I suppose the Exodar is a weird choice since it hasn't... Like, I mean, technically the Exodar isn't even there anymore. Not that we acknowledge that. I was actually thinking Orgrimmar. Orgrimmar is so reliant on imports and trade that it wouldn't function without it. It is not a good city. We've talked about that extensively. It was a huge mistake to settle here. Yeah, thanks, Thrall. My point is that the Exodar has already been cannibalized to make the Genedar, and is currently being cannibalized even more. So, I'm willing to say that the Exodar doesn't count at this point. Like, in lore, it's not really a functional city anymore. It's a scavenger pile. There's not really a lot of cities up in Northrend. Dalaran doesn't really count. See, the problem is the two cities we came up with, Gnomeregan and Undercity, both kind of are cheaty answers, because the Undercity got nuked and Gnomeregan got nuked. So if we eject those two... Yeah, I was going to say, the Undercity and Gnomeregan were cities. So I think I'm actually going to default to Orgrimmar. That's actually funny to think about, but I would really not want to live in Orgrimmar unless I was an adventurer, unless I had power to be able to endure it. Like, if I just got Tier 1 or Tier 2'd into Orgrimmar, I'd be like, oh, crap. Never mind the fact that I'm human. Just ignore that for a second. Just surviving here would be a chore. Yeah, it's the middle of the frickin' desert. What's right next to it? The Barrens. The best place to wind up in 14? Honestly, at this point, probably the Crystarium. Just funny to think about. The hell are these? Oh, right, yeah, of course. Sormar would be interesting. It's no longer being bathed in magic, so you wouldn't have that detriment. Who knows what that would do to you, right? Okay, so this is Golden Mist. Hang on. A lot of towns here. Not a complaint, just interesting. Well, I mean, by virtue of the fact that I just mentioned that the Nightwell is gone. Tier 3 is you get to choose. You have a character creator, Ross. To put this into simple perspective, let's say you, Ross, were teleported into Azeroth right now. Ow! You can't cast magic. Because you're a real-life human. You would look like the humans wandering around this setting, but you'd be nothing like them. The humans in this setting are Titan-forged descendants who are cursed by the curse of flesh. You're a dude, right? So there's a pretty good chance you can't cast magic. Like, literally, functionally cannot. Never mind all kinds of other issues that would crop up from that. Tier 3 means you could turn into a human. Or a mage. You could actually literally just give yourself the class. Or you could make yourself a Night Elf, or be a Tauren, or Draenei, or whatever the hell you want to be, right? Yeah, Kultirans are basically giants. Yeah, Miss Proudmoore should be almost a foot taller than me in real life. Sorry, I just suddenly had a really throbbing pain right here. Which is where the swelling is. Still not 100% sure what that injury is. Hurts like hell. So, Tier 2, you get to choose... So, Tier 2 and Tier 1 are both you. The difference is, Tier 1 is you don't get to decide where or when. Tier 2, you get to decide, okay, I want to be in Suramar post-Legion, right? I want to be in the Valley of the Four Winds. Whenever, right? At some point in history, whenever you want to be there. Stuff like that. Tier 1 is Warcraft. Have fun. There's a lot of bad options there. Tier 0 is when you have nothing other than like the most fundaments of convenience features. Yeah, pre-Cata Darkshard. Yay! Oh, wait. Tier 3 is when you have a character creator. Tier 4 is when you get to get really persnickety about getting dumped into. Like, for example, in Tier 3, you could be, random example, a Night Elf who is a mage, right? Cool. In Tier 4, you could replace an existing character if you wanted to. Or you could actually just dump yourself in as a max level Night Elf mage who has already done the entire Legion story arc and therefore is the head of the Order and blah, blah, blah. Like, you get all kinds of options. It's basically Tier 3 with cheat codes. I'm a pixel sprite. No! Immediate suicide. Okay. Now, that's an interesting question. So I'll ask this of the crowd, too. If you get tier 4'd in, but you have to take the place of an existing character, like you get slotted in place of someone else, who do you pick? I'd pick Arthas, of course. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, no. Oh, that would be awful, Dream Whisperer. Yeah, I actually thought about the same thing, Lord Harriman. If you really did get tier 1 into a setting like this, your best bet is to find some moral researchers and say, hey, I'm from another world. Would you like to study me? I know a great deal about your world. Sorry, I'm not just flying around. I'm taking notes here. Forgive me. I think that's everything I want to cover, though. Yeah, it looks like it anyways. Yeah, all of the tiers do that on Earth. Yeah, exactly, Papa Nix. Hey, you want to study me? What? Yeah, I'm an alien. What? Sorry, any setting I wouldn't mind getting tier 1'd into. I mean... It would be a massive dice roll in both cases, but I would at least consider Star Trek and My Little Pony. Not being able to choose where and when sucks. Oh, and Pokemon, sorry. Those are the three. Sorry, I forgot about Pokemon. But it is still probably worth the dice roll. Worst comes to worst, I can always kill myself. It's fine. Here.
The eternal sun still guides us.
Okay, so we're going to do Arator's journey.
The Sunwell holds for now, only through the constant effort of its defenders, should their strength waver. Bishop Alonsus Fowl has a plan to support those of the Sunwell, and to help Arator.
Well, let's do it. Never, Papa Nix.
We're going to save the Sunwell. More importantly, we're going to fix that broken young man.
And that's Alonsus Fowl in one sentence. We're going to save the Sunwell, but more importantly, and yes, Gideon Emery also voices Alonsus Fowl. If you notice, he actually voices Fowl a little bit differently than he did back in Legion. Probably to keep them a little bit more distinct.
We will accomplish much together.
I've been tasked with bolstering the vanguard of the light that empower the Sunwell. I need your help, though not just for that simple task. Our mutual friend, Arator, is... stuck. Stuck in his grief and anger over that tragic conflict between him and his father. I'm just an old priest that's been raised from the dead, but I found that a quest is just the thing to set a young paladin on the right path. Would you help?
Such a troubled boy. That'll happen when your father leaves a gaping wound in your chest. Not to worry, I have a plan.
Oh yeah, we're also pretending the mod doesn't exist because the Shadowlands don't exist because they don't. Moving on.
Hello.
Oh. Hi. I was just watching the fountain. I needed to get some air. Was I needed somewhere? Is that why you're here? Wait, Fowl sent you. He's a decent man. Did you know he founded the Paladin Order? He trained my... The Silver Hand is his legacy. Ah, very well. I'll go where I'm ordered. It's the life I signed up for.
Okay, then. Asking for me to inspire anyone? Fowl always was an original thinker.
He's fine. He's a paladin, Lanera. He's fine. Would I roll a tier 1 in Star Wars? No. Star Wars would be fun at tier 3. Maybe tier 4. I just realized I haven't answered your question yet. Hang on. Who would I replace in Warcraft at tier 4? Yeah, no, it's you, D20. That's the whole point of the tier 4 insertion, is you can do whatever you want to. You don't have to adhere to the previous character's personality or perspective. Now, there's baggage with that. Random example, if you decided to become the head of the Scarlet Crusade and then was like, wait, let's stop murdering and killing innocent civilians, you're probably just going to get the rest of the Crusade to kill you. Probably by burning you alive. So, you know, there's a catch there, right? I know, we have to stop burning innocent civilians alive. Ugh! Roboth is actually a good answer. I'm torn. There's a lot of really good answers here. Honestly, though, one of my first thoughts is Jaina Proudmoore. I mean, she is a tremendously powerful mage who also happens to be well-positioned and is in a perfect spot, especially now, to do a lot of good. A lot of people listen to her. A lot of people respect her and acknowledge her. She has literal authority with the Kultirans, and she is an incredibly powerful mage. I would almost universally be tempted by very powerful people one way or the other. Problem is, most of the super powerful people have it kind of bad, you know? Like, I would not want to be Illidan. You know what I mean? He's a very powerful demon hunter. I kind of don't care. Yeah. Oh, hi, Mr. Red. Terrellian! For the light! No. Yeah, Illidan is also a bit of a loser. That's true. I don't know if anybody else really tempts me as much. I was trying to think if there's any Draenei, but I can't think of an individual Draenei I would actually want to be. Departos! Yeah, also the Draenei have been through some stuff. The answer is discipline. Sure. Vigilance, one might even say. I have to admit, I would also be tempted by Lorthamar, and not just because he's banging Thalyssra, although that is a bonus. But no, being the functional leader of the Blood Elves, and a decent person and well-respected, and being a reasonably well-leveled whatever he is, warrior hunter. Oh, I'm sure she is, Papa Nix. I think I'm going to stick with Miss Proudmoore. I think that's my pick. It even fits. I'm primarily a Frost Mage. Yeah, that's my big concern. I think Lorthamar's doing a good enough job that I kind of don't want to mess that up, you know? I have a lot of confidence in my leadership capacity, but I also don't know the setting as... Well, that's not true. I don't know Silvermoon as well as he does.
Ah, good. You're both here. There is a crisis of faith that we need to fix.
Lord Walker Cho has no power. I need someone with power, Kenixcow. Otherwise, I can't do this. Bwong.
Are you a seeker of light?
So this is when we say, oh my god, I can't go close to the light. It burns me because the light burns the undead. Negative to story. Moving on.
We can fix our mistakes.
So painfully bright here, don't you think? Ah, you were able to convince him. Thank you.
The only thing under your control is how you feel.
The Vanguard of Light are maintaining a difficult ritual at the Sunwell. It requires focus, discipline, and is quite exhausting. Take my staff. I've had it since I was the Archbishop in Stormwind. It is meaningful to me and my faith. The light responds to meaning and intention. It should renew the Vanguard's spirit so they can maintain the ritual a while longer. I can't approach because of a negative to story.
That's your solution? To zap them with your staff?
Huh. Those defenders have exhausted themselves, giving of their own faith and power. We bolster their reserves.
I mean, let's just get down to brass tacks. You know why the light burns the undead? Because of D&D. That's it. That's why. It's because in almost every other generic fantasy setting, light equals burning to undead. Like, turn undead, right? That's why. The problem is, that makes absolutely no sense in Warcraft. Because the light has nothing to do with that in Warcraft, and neither do the dead. I got really mad about that, actually. You can ask anybody who's on Discord. I got pissed when I first saw that dialogue option. I was like, oh, you sons of... Anyways.
The Sunwell is a conduit for the light, made holy through the sacrifice of the Naru Muru.
So if you're wondering, I'll just poke my head out here. A couple more steps. There we go. So that's how quickly that kills you, if you stay out there. As you can see, this is... I mentioned how this stage changes a few times based on when you come out here. They're actually taking from the mage fountains to recoup. And yeah, they're all just kind of... Hey, look! It's a Night Elf Paladin! Hey, Blizzard! Look! It's a Night Elf Paladin! Hey, look! Okay, whatever.
I'm worried that Void Elf might sneak back in here and disrupt our efforts at the Sunwell.
What?
I have marshaled what priests were available to ward against the Void. It won't repel the devouring host, but will prevent contamination from any undesirable mortals.
As a reminder, that's Bellamy and War Chaplain Sen. Just keep that in mind. It's gonna come up later. I'm pretty sure they're mentioning Umbric. You know, the guy currently doing everything in his power to try and help this situation. Oh, there's Kalia, by the way, which starts with a C and not a T. Oh, hey, look! It's a light undead. Sorry, I'll let it go. I will. There's Julius Celeste, aka the meme paladin. Still don't think we can actually get that suit. Yeah, lots of people here from all over the place. You remember the Tears Guard from Dragonflight? Oh, God. That's... That's true. We had a paladin death knight. A light death knight. All the way back in vanilla. Oh, that hurts. Holy God. Okay. So, how many of you remember Salandria? Salandria, excuse me. Now you're probably thinking, who? If you are, I just want you to know that makes me a little bit sad. What's funny is, I did the math. I don't remember right now, but she's like 18 right now. All the way back in Burning Crusade, we got to run around with a Blood Elf child named Salandria. And she wanted to be a rock star, or a paladin, or all kinds of other cool stuff. And for some reason, the Bronze Dragonflight were like, we must murder this child. I don't know if they're ever going to follow through on that, but she's still here. It has been over a decade since BC. In fact, it's been a long time since BC.
Baladash Malinore.
Ever since I came from Outland, the Sunwell has been a beacon to me of the light and what it means to be a Blood Elf. I'm honored to have any part of this.
I'll see you again soon, right?
Oh yeah, and of course Velen, someone mentioned this earlier, but of course Velen is leading the efforts to charge the Sunwell. Ignoring the fact that he was the guy who kind of helped reignite the Sunwell, he's probably the, and I want to stress that word for a second, the most light-aligned person in the setting who isn't a slavering zealot about it.
Something is amiss on this world.
Thank you for coming to help. The Vanguard of Light has been maintained. Maintaining this ritual to keep Xalatath at bay, but they do not have my endurance. Anything you could do will give us the time we need.
You are the instrument of change.
Yeah, Velen is what I like to say. I'm saying this wrong. Velen is what the light probably should be. It is faith tempered by reality, and, more importantly, compassion. And yeah, he's been through an arc. He went through Legion, and he went through the Draenei Heritage Quest, which we've already shown both of those on camera. Probably Zira, Mr. Red, if I had to pick one. Here's Taelia.
How can I help?
To be honest, I assumed my father had peaked when I followed my father to the realms of death. Sorry, I misread that. God, it's so hard to read, apparently. To be honest, I assumed my life had peaked when I followed my father to the realms of death. Now we're fighting against an enemy even stranger and more inscrutable. It's terrifying, but I'm glad to be able to do my part.
Stay on course.
Everyone deserves compassion. Everyone.
In fact, can't help but wonder what has led Xalatath to all of this. I suspect her past has been as dark as the void itself. But more than that, I think of everyone she's hurting. All those who have died to her machinations. That's why we must use the Sunwell to stop her, no matter how exhausted we are.
I am always here if you need me.
There's so much relying on our success here at the Sunwell. It's a heavy burden, but not as great as the weight of refusing it. Thank you for helping us bear the load.
Will I be forgiven?
Nope.
We will win this war.
Throughout my years, I have seen the Void take the lives of many soldiers. All-consuming and endless, much like the Legion, perhaps more. I pray that this conflict will not last several thousand years. Well...
Be on your guard.
I bid you welcome.
Anshe would have a stand against the Void just as he would. And with your help, I am still able to do so.
Another time, then.
Aw, here, you get one of the charges.
Welcome, welcome. Come here.
My people be no strangers to assaults from the Void. It was our faith in the law that allowed us to prevail in the past. Faith in my law and in Tyr's teachings will guide my hand today. I pray it is enough.
May Tyr's sacrifice not have been in vain.
Oh, hey, it's Anduin's girlfriend.
My faith kindles my hope.
I don't think we have anything quite like the Sunwell back in the Arathi Empire. Hope we never go to the Arathi Empire. It's vital we protect it. Thank you for your help.
In my heart,
Is that Alonsis' staff? He was the one who welcomed me into the Conclave after I left the Scarlets. Yeah, by the way, this is an ex-Scarlet Crusader.
May the light shine upon you.
This is an ex-Scarlet Crusader. I don't know what else to add to that. She was also in Legion. A lot of these characters from Legion.
I know you are tired. It is hard to continue, but we must.
Yeah, she was a Scarlet Crusader who grew a brain. Pretty rare, but, you know.
Anu Belore de la Na.
I have seen much, from the early days of Paladins to the fall of Arthas from the Light. I had hoped the defeat of the Legion and Tyr's return meant better days and brighter. But the Void has our world at the very brink of darkness. Thank you for helping me find the strength to continue.
Salama Ashalanore.
Yeah, remember him? Uther's old apprentice who... Let's just say there's some baggage here and leave it at that.
Are you ready? Let's go!
By the way, Salandria has a custom voice actress. Just thought that was cool. Worth pointing out.
Well met. I have found my purpose. To serve others by following Tyr.
I will always try.
Should the Sunwell fall, we have no way to stop the devouring host. Greetings, friend.
You need your big sister's help? Just say the word.
I'm trying to picture what a Loa of the Light would look like.
We have taken different paths to reach the light, but together we assemble for the same purpose, to protect Azeroth.
Oh god, no, not a Naru, no! I guess Grawl counts, but that wasn't really what I was picturing.
What if I promised that my task would take you far away from here?
Okay.
Light bless you, friend.
I had hoped that seeing the rest of the Vanguard focused on the Sunwell would give him a goal that was bigger than his pain, and lead him away from his anger. Instead, he belittles my solution. Thank you for doing it in his stead. It was necessary to keep the Voidstorm at bay.
The past will haunt you. Are you a seeker of light or darker paths?
I'm a demon hunter. The holy power in my staff has been spent. 40 years of fervent prayers drained in a few minutes. It was for a good cause, and my staff will recover in time. There are other relics, like my staff, that were important to paladins and priests. Light's Hope Chapel has many such relics stored there. Arator trained there as well. Perhaps the solution to his pain could be found within.
The only thing under your control is how you feel. You're creating a bigger cloud with your moping than Xalatath's Voidstorm. Speak your mind. Let it out before these feelings create a well of poison in your gut.
I'm not just upset that my father cut me down. I'm upset that when he did so, I saw the light shining brightly in his eyes. The same light that I am taught to revere. Under its guidance, he almost killed me.
So, you blame the light, not your father.
We are trained to wield the light as a weapon. Is that all that I am as a paladin? You founded the Silver Hand. You trained my father. I suppose I blame you as well. You crafted this philosophy of war. I followed your teachings until I burned myself with my own wrath.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I really did make a mess of it all, didn't I?
What?
I'm reminded of each and every one of my failings every day, when the light burns me as I channel it.
What are you saying?
In many ways, this world is broken. You should feel angry about it. That doesn't mean you can't try to change the world, or yourself, for the better. Come with me on my little quest. I can't promise we'll change anything but how you feel. But that's the only thing we can control.
Well, we're doing things in a little bit of out of order because of real-life time concerns. Like I said, normally I'd go to Zul'Aman next, but...
We will accomplish much together. To Light's help to gather relics and inspire the Vanguard.
No better place to take my mind off the problems with paladins.
And yeah, nice little tidbit. Hi, Braylon. So, for those of you who don't fully know what Alonzus is talking about, Alonzus was the one who turned an order of priests back in the Warcraft 1 era into an order of paladins in the Warcraft 2 era. They're not joking when they say he founded the Silver Hand. The concept of the paladin predates him, but let's call it the codifying of what a paladin is, really sits on his shoulders. Yeah, exactly, Clays. It's the same thing we were talking about with Turellian, if you're paying any kind of attention. Yeah, I was to say, look at the first crop of paladins. We have Ashbringer, that went badly. Uther, enough said there. Denfrahad, whatever his stupid name was. He got replaced by a Dreadlord. Oh, and Turellian, who... Yeah. Anyways, point I'm trying to reach here. Like we talked about with Turellian, when you forge a group to fight something that terrible and that powerful that requires that level of extreme in order to push back, it causes issue, right? And Alonzus isn't an idiot. He knows that. Yeah, every single paladin we just mentioned either went extremist or evil. The only two, of that group who have started to pull back from that are Uther and Turellian. And we're not done with Turellian's story yet, and Uther's story was kind of dropped. So, we'll see. I think Tyrion was also one of the first. Yeah, and one of those people are dead. You know. So it's, hey, Plaguelands, woo! Plaguelands, woo! Oh yeah, Tyrion's also dead, by the way. Don't talk to anyone. It'll screw up the quest. I'm not trying to be harsh. When me and my friends were doing this quest chain, we discovered that. We actually ended up splitting up group when we did this.
Lord Tyrosus, I had no idea things were so desperate. What can we do to help?
It's okay. The Scourge are never coming back in the next expansion. I know what I mean.
We will prevail.
I love his sword, by the way. Just big old slab of metal. Love it. You weren't called to the Sunwell? I have faithfully served the light throughout my entire life. Even lost an eye on the way. Some are stronger paladins than me, but not many. But outside of a few defenders and our squires, nearly everyone was taken to Silvermoon to stop the void. Can't help but wonder if I've failed the light in some way, and I can't see how. While I'm here, I will certainly do my best to serve the light, no matter what. I still wonder why I was not called upon. Hang on, what are the Death Knights doing here? There was no one else. Nearly every paladin was taken by the light to the Sunwell. Tyrion owed me a favor, in a sense, for trying to kill me and take Tyrion's body to be one of his horsemen. And he has no desire to see the Void come closer to triumph over Azeroth. So when I asked, the Ebon Blade stepped up to assist. Because, honestly, of course they did. Ignoring that one rather critical quest in Legion, which, as I've talked about several times, has more depth to it than it looks at first glance. The Ebon Blade and the... Oh god, I can't remember what they're called. The Argent Crusade? No. I think it's the Argent Crusade. The modern Paladin group have a lot in common with each other. and should probably actually be more unified than not, which I just find incredibly amusing. 1 second, please. I guess they did become the Silver Hand again, but whatever. Okay.
At your service.
Welcome to Light. So, most of the paladins that defended the grounds were recalled by the Light. But to reach out to the Ebon Blade for the support, or the Scourge would have overrun this place. That's so strange. Why are the Scourge going wild? I thought the Scourge were all defeated after Shadowlands' terrible, terrible story of terrible, awful, terrible, terrible.
May the light give you strength.
Normally, paladins from the Light's Hope could hold back the Scourge in the immediate area, but they've all been called to fight the Void. As a result, Scourge forces have greatly increased their numbers around the chapel. We've managed to hold the line so far, but only with the help of Darian and the Blade. Give us some room to breathe. Defeat as many as you can.
With so many defenders called away to the Sunwell, the Scourge almost broke through to the chapel. I've called for assistance from the Ebon Blade, but we could use your help pushing back this latest attack.
No, Asmiristar. No, no. This is probably me reading too much into things, but there's been, I want to say, like...
Stationed here to fight the Scourge, I'd become just like my... I'd fall to rage and wrath.
Damn. I was trying to say, there's just like 4 or so hints, and they're very small hints throughout the game, from Dragonflight onwards, that hint that the Scourge are going absolutely wild in Northrend right now.
I shouldn't let my doubts get in the way of the defense of this place.
And, well, we know we're going back to Northrend for the next expansion. So... yeah, I have all the questions. They could take that in a lot of directions, and a lot of them suck, if we're being honest. So we'll see.
But is this what it means to wield the light? An endless battle against evil? Light's Hope is in danger. The world is in danger. I need to get my head in the battle.
Thank you. The Scourge has diminished. Take whatever relics you need to support the Sunwell.
Honestly, yeah, Papanix. I just imagine Metzen looking at Shadowlands and being like, oh my god, what did they do to my baby? What did they do to my baby? Oh dear god. Why? Why? Real talk, and I mean this with total sincerity. For those of you not aware of the timeline, Metzen put a lot of himself into Titan, the game, and landed in the hospital as a result of it. Between that and the slowly encroaching army of Bobby Kotick's goons, not exaggerating, taking over Blizzard, Metzen bowed out. And when I say bowed out, I mean he bowed out. He retired in a manner that indicated he was never going to do anything in the industry again. Now, forgive me for being an old man here for a second, but I've seen that before. I've seen it from writers, I've seen it from actors, I've seen it from directors. It's usually in direct response to having to go through some crap, right? If I can use another example right off the top of my head, Brandon Braga from Star Trek. When he finished work on Enterprise, he took a sabbatical of like 7 years before he ever worked in writing, in television again. He was that burnt out from everything. So, the thing is, and the reason I'm bringing this up, is when they do that, they usually do so with no intent to come back. Because at the time, you can't possibly imagine coming back. That makes sense, right? But time does some weird things to your perspective. We know that when a lot of people were getting ousted within the company, one of the first things that was floated was, hey, Metzen, do you want to come back? And he'd already been in the office periodically, almost entirely doing voice acting work, because Thrall was still a character in BFA and in Shadowlands. And he was like, and I have no direct knowledge of this, but I've always gotten the impression that with the chaff, we're going to call it that, removed from the equation, and with WoW being in such a colossal mess, and StarCraft basically as done as it's getting, like he kind of concluded his story there, so that's whatever. I get the feeling that he looked at his baby and said, okay, let's try to clean this up a little bit. Will he clean it up into something better? Worse? In between? Metzen is a very good and bad writer. But I get the strong impression, like, I put simply, if I was in his position, I would have probably done the exact same thing. Like, all right, I'll come back, but you're putting Warcraft under me. I'm going to be the head man of Warcraft from now on. And I'm going to be the sign-off of all of this stuff. And we're going to try and figure this out and make this work because you have freaking screwed up my baby. That too has been true. That's been true since Dragonfight at this point.
Azeroth will not fall while we stand.
Thank you. You've thinned their ranks enough that we're able to maintain our defenses with the help we have from our allies. Fowl told me you have need for relics.
Walk always in the light.
I wonder what this quest is like as a Death Knight. Alonzis tells me you're looking for relics of holy power to sustain those performing the ritual holding the void at bay. Now that you've beaten back the Scourge, you and Arator are certainly welcome to enter the Sanctum of Light and use what we have for the cause.
For my first lesson, learn from the revered heroes of the past and what inspired their light.
That's what I've been trying to do since I joined the Silver Hand.
Yeah, no kidding. Would I want a Warcraft 4? Yes. Will there be a Warcraft 4? Much less likely.
These paladins since I was a child. Each of them is a legend, immortalized in stone. Their great deeds set an example for all paladins. But no matter how hard I try, I fear that I'll never live up to them.
So, hey, Paladin Order Hall from Legion. A little emptier than before, but still here. Could Warcraft 4 be as good as StarCraft 2? Yeah. Will it? No. Yeah, Stormgate and Zero Space are both trying to be StarCraft 3 right now. One of them has already failed.
Marad was known for his skill in combat, yet his relic is a meditation crystal. Crom defended the people of Lordaeron, but the relic is a smithing hammer, not a weapon.
Yeah, Crom Dawnhammer. His shining hammer guided countless innocents to safety during the rise of the Scourge in Lordaeron. May he finally rest in peace.
Mara's heroics inspired the creation of the Silver Hand. Her relic is a book of refugee prayers, though.
Mara Foredragon, High Clerist of Stormwind, patron of the refugees who fled to Stormwind endured the First War. She was the bright mother of our future. May she rest in the light.
Uther was the first and greatest of the Silver Hand Paladins. I'm surprised not to find his hammer, but a healing kit.
Uther is a complicated character, as we've already talked about. First Paladin, father of the original Order of the Silver Hand. And,
I
yeah.
forgot that statue was here.
Yeah, General Terrellian. None sacrificed more than the High General. May we always walk in his path, so we too might safeguard the innocents as he did. By blood and honor we serve. Yep.
Lena led an army against the Legion. Why would her relic be something like this?
And this is Lena Stormpike, stalwart combatant and defender of justice, fallen defending her home from the foul demons of the Burning Legion. Azeroth is darker for her passing. And I forgot to read Murad's. He always sought to protect those who could not protect themselves. Murad made the ultimate sacrifice in Draenor to save one of our own. Sorry, I didn't even see your question.
I had expected these relics to be powerful weapons. Instead, they were mostly simple items, unconnected to war. The Silver Hand was founded to wield the light in battle. Is that not the measure of a paladin's accomplishments?
Well, yeah, if you wanted to heal, go roll a priest. Duh!
The most revered paladins didn't draw their faith in the light from warfare. They fought to preserve what they valued most.
At your service, we will prevail.
So, just to read these really quick. Lena's Stein, even through tavern songs, she radiated her light by lifting other spirits. Murad's meditation crystal. He leaned on this crystal for peace, just as others leaned on him for strength and protection. Uther's healing kit. His faith in the light shone brightest when he was healing others. Chrome's smithing hammer. His armor, bolstered by the light, was stronger than even Chrome. Few knew he forged it himself. And Four Dragon's prayer book. With her poetic prayers to the light, she taught of the light we share in each other, the joy and fellowship found in community.
Azeroth will not fall while we stand.
These artifacts will sustain the Vanguard, but they are not enough. I know of a place nearby that would have the rest we need, but given Arator's state of mind, I'm hesitant to go there. No sense avoiding it. We must face the fact that the Scarlet Crusade calls upon the power of the light, and has for decades.
The Scarlet Crusade? You, of all people, want to spread their light?
They claimed many relics when they seized my church. Relics that would be better used to our purpose of holding back Xalatath.
So Orgrim was kind of the toxic uncle, Elizar, in that he took care of Thrall and cared about Thrall, obviously, but he also filled his head with stories of how awesome and great the orcs were, while kind of skipping over the events of the demonic horde.
What do you want? I can scarcely believe that the light answers their call. I was always taught that the light was good. The Crusade is unconscionable.
The light seeks a path. It does not dictate the way. Look at all the cultures across Azeroth that channel the light. From Elune to Graal to Anshe. Philosophically different from our Church of Holy Light, but with the same ability to channel the energy.
I have often wondered.
The light needs a lens to focus its power through the wielder. The light brings certainty, and it responds to one's conviction. But the light cannot distinguish between love and hatred.
So that is why the Scarlet Crusade claims it acts according to the light's will.
And why they were able to pervert my teachings of fellowship and protection into something you and I recognize so clearly as evil. The Scarlet Crusade was founded by a paladin I personally anointed. For a long time, I saw them as my own misjudgment made manifest. Perhaps I still do. However, the relics they possess will do for our purposes of bolstering the Sunwell defenders. It will be good to reclaim them.
Yeah, no, as I mentioned in my positive notes that I just gave there, all of this is pretty old hat to us, but A, most of the characters in universe probably aren't really fully aware of how this stuff operates. And B, remember, Midnight is kind of being designed around new players. Just like War Within was, just like Dragonflight was. I think they've been hitting a pretty good balancing point of explaining stuff in character rather than just turning to the screen and being like, as you know. Alonsis Fowl, one of the most venerated priests of the setting, explaining to Arator, who's basically a teenager by Blood Elf standards, how the light operates, doesn't really bother me. You know what I mean? Hang on, I can scroll up here. That doesn't surprise me as Miristar. The Banished One continues to taint everything he ever touched. Whatever. No, I said exactly what I meant, Elizar. Imagine if you were, oh, I don't know, a Nazi member, and you talked about how awesome Germany was, and completely glossed over the Nazi regime. And then the person you're teaching that is like, oh man, Germany's amazing. And then a lot of people are like, Rrr. Like, not all Germans are Nazis. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say you kind of have to acknowledge that the Nazis existed. Just like you have to acknowledge that the demonic horde existed. Whoa, whoops. Sorry, Mr. Red, I even overshot. That's the worst part. Well, sucks to be you. Bye. Alright, now that Mr. Red is Mr. Dead. Hi, Mockingbirds. Thrall mentioned... Thrall. Jesus Christ. Mr. Red mentions, which orcs would Thrall be most easily able to turn to get a less whitewashed version of the atrocities of the demonic horde? I don't think any of them really could. Even Varrock didn't speak openly about what kind of stuff they did. Even when directly, like, having it shoved into his face years later. So, I think, yay. E-Trig I could see. Hey, it's the old key ring. We're not doing that. Die, monsters. The light gives us strength. No, you're all evil. You carry the taint of the scourge. You... Okay. I'm a demon, not an undead. God. Your eyes not work?
Ah, you're here, champion. We should join Arator inside. My sermon to these fanatics is falling on deaf ears.
Run. What is this, vanilla? Oh, wait. Garethos is like, oh god, it's an elf! It's a demonic elf! Ah!
Light bless you, friend.
Okay, now we're gonna do this. There we go. That should do it.
Yeah?
Oh, okay, that's a great line. Yeah. Just, he sounds so... I love the acting. Anyways. This place truly has seen better days, when it was truly in service of the Church of the Holy Light. Originally under Sidon and Alexandros, it did much good in Lordaeron. But the Crusade was misled over time into hatred of the other, which has guided their actions for decades. Yeah, the Scarlet Crusade are straight-up Nazis. I know we use that word a little bit loosely nowadays, but no, seriously, they're Nazis.
Are you a seeker of light?
The Scarlet Crusade has been wielding the light for evil purposes for decades. Disappointed to see how many forces they still have here. Yeah, me too! Still, the light responds to them just as it does to us. We're here to get their relics to help the Sunwell, but while we're here, let's cleanse the place of their dark influence. For the 4th time, I think, at this point?
We can fix our mistakes.
Leaders of the Scarlet Crusade have channeled the light through their weapons every day for years. While their goals and actions are reprehensible to us, their weapons are no less useful than my own staff, especially in times of need. As you go, whenever you find a leader, defeat them and bring back their weapon. We will put it to righteous use, to aid the Sunwell.
This place has all the trappings of the Church of Holy Light, but turned to an evil purpose.
Uh-huh.
That is my second lesson. The light is channeled through belief and conviction, even if they are misguided.
Thank you for the sub, Pokemibo. And if you want to put their turrets up to 3 things, please let me know.
I'll show the initiates how one smites an unbeliever.
Okay, how do you smite an unbeliever? Any day now. I'm waiting. Oh, you're dead.
Teach them the light's dictates.
Myers' Rod of Cast...
Forever call forth the light through hatred?
Myers directed the light through the staff, both to fight outsiders and to train his pupils to do the same. It is the Staff of Castigation, excuse me. WoW intermittently acknowledges your class and your race. It's usually like one quest here and there, and it's like, oh, that's cool. It does not regularly do so. It would honestly be unreasonable for it to regularly do so. Hello. Oh, right. I gotta wait, because... Waiting. There's nothing preventing a human from becoming demonic out there. There was actually a demon cult in Duskwood back in Legion. Hashtag other players. God, other players suck. They're the worst thing about MMOs. Frickin' players. I am amused that we're having kind of the opposite problem of FF11, where we're just... There's so many players. There's so many players, oh god. There's a quest in the 4th zone, for example, Mockingbirds, that will directly acknowledge my class in a way that will completely change the dialogue on the quest chain. Yep, there she is.
Intruders! So the time has come to die for the crusade!
Yep. Enjoy your death! Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da-ba. Don't worry, I'm only slicing off chunks of your soul.
Wait, I yield! I lost my faith in this order long ago. I won't give my life for them as well.
Okay.
Go. If you wish to surrender, give us your weapon. Leave this accursed place and never return.
Probably a direct reference with that line.
This blade was forged long before the Crusade's hatred. Perhaps it can be returned to a wielder who is truly righteous.
I'll put that towards WoW Patch Night, FF701, and FF7. You got it, Pokemibo. Anyways. So that's 2 Intelligent Crusaders so far. A grand total of 2. Everyone else, well, we'll send the ghouls through to clean up their corpses later. I've already given all my thoughts on why I'm irritated that the Scarlet Crusade keeps coming back. I kind of don't care how realistic it is or how much it's believable or blah, 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 blah. From a fictional perspective, it's just kind of tiresome to constantly fight the same group over and over again. You know? We've got a million, billion, trillion enemies. Do we have to keep fighting the Crusade?
You heathens dare disturb my communion?
Yeah. Hey, I'm a demon, by the way. No, like an actual demon. Like, you're dead.
The lights will choose a new leader for our crusade.
Blah, 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 blah. It's just, I can't be the only one who gets irritated by this, right? It's probably mostly irritating me because this has happened 3 times. Once in Dragonflight, once in War Within, once at Midnight. For those of you not aware, that's the Reclamation of Gilneas, the Arathi quest chain, which is admittedly a little bit of a technically, but still counts, and here. Do we have to keep fighting the Crusade? Anyways, so we just picked up the Scarlet Spire, channeled the light through the staff for his own dark purposes. Yeah. What about that sword earlier? Elise focused the light through her sword whenever she fought for the Crusade until the day she walked away from both.
It never ends, does it? Another will just continue this doctrine of spite.
Arator, the light may empower its followers, but the morals and ethics of this force come from within each of us.
Actually, that's a good point. I forgot about the Undead Heritage quest. So, excuse me, 4 times in Modern WoW we've dealt with this Crusade. Can we be done with these guys? We have wiped them out. I can't think of her name. Oh god, what's her name? The best character in the game. I can't think of her name. Cataclysm. Or maybe it was Pandaria. Lillian Voss. That's her. We wiped out the Crusade. Then Lillian wiped out the Crusade. And then we stomped all over the Crusade 4 times. Can they be done? Can we move on? Oh, I need to kill like 3 more guys. That's funny. That's another thing. I don't want to be dismissive, but like Azeroth is kind of in an almost unprecedented era of peace and prosperity right now. Like, I know, oh my god, the Void's coming, but the whole planet's actually doing pretty well right now. Think about the state of this world. Really actually sit back and think about it, historically speaking. The reason that so many people so willingly joined up with the Cult of the Damned was because life in Lordaeron, specifically in Lordaeron, sucked after the Second War. And the reason so many people signed up with the Twilight's Hammer was because there was some stuff going on around Northrend and then around Cataclysm. Like there's this whole giant dragon flying around doing a thing, you know? Yeah, we have not actually had a world war since, if we want to get technically BFA, but I wouldn't even count that, the Banshee War. I would say the last actual real world war was the Hellscream War, back in Cataclysm and Pandaria. It's been a hot minute, is what I'm trying to say. Even if we count BFA, that's still, hang on, so that's 7 to 9-ish years of peace planet-wide. Like, we're good. So why are all these people being like, oh, I must be desperate and join the evil cultists?
We will accomplish much together.
Anyways.
Light.
Excellent work. Perhaps one day the Scarlet Monster can be a place that truly serves the light. Yeah, I wouldn't bet on that.
We can fix our mistakes.
These weapons of the light shall serve a much greater purpose from this day forward. I hope that may be true for Elise, the Scarlet Champion Arator showed mercy to. I told her to begin by surrendering herself to Kalia at the Sunwell. That's a hell of a trip. Is she going to survive that trip? Do we care?
The only thing under your control is how you feel.
I hope my staff's light has been enough to uphold those at the Sunwell while we seek these relics. Together with those from Light's Hope, they should be a much more significant aid. Let's return there quickly.
Is this the fate of all paladins? Die a legend, or live to be consumed by zealotry and wrath?
No, Arator. My hope is that you can find a different path to follow. Are you a seeker of light or darker paths?
I love this, by the way. Grimoire of Teleportation from the Library of Khadgar. Because, of course, Alonza's Fowl would have a book from Khadgar's library. I love it. And yes, I know that BFA technically was supposed to be in World War. I don't buy it. I don't. I'm sorry. BFA was such a mess that I don't care if you tell me, if you don't show me. We've talked about this before, right? Fiction has to earn plot points, right? It has to earn these kind of world beats, world-building beats. If you say, oh my god, the kobolds are the most horrifyingly evil forces ever, and they've destroyed entire continents, worlds have fallen before them, and then we go fight the kobolds, and they're like, you're not a candle! I don't believe you, right? It's a terrible analogy, but you get my point. I encounter this all the time in fiction. Yeah, it's just a bad story. It's just a bad story. It doesn't work. That's it. That's all. Yeah, BFA was like, oh, man. The Fourth War. Yeah, uh-huh. Bullcrap. Remember, we were told flat out to our faces that not only was the jailer behind the entire setting, but also that the entire games from Warcraft 1 up to Shadowlands were all a culmination. Like, this was the big culmination of all that storytelling. Bullcrap.
I can't face those gathered at the Sunwell right now.
We will accomplish much together.
My staff bought us time and effort, but these relics will be more powerful. Let's hope it'll be enough. Quickly, deliver these to our friends.
Arator, I did not mean to add to your burdens. The trip to the cathedral was necessary to save the Sunwell. Champion, if you could deliver the relics, I need to have a word in private with Arator.
Okay.
I appreciate your concerns, Korith. For my people, the light and the Sunwell are the same. They may complain, but they will accept the Vanguard. If you say so, Venel. It just seems we're ruffling too many griffin feathers.
I mean, lol, puzzles now. Yeah, I remember him too. Thank you for sparing me when I left the Crusade. I had growing doubts for years, but always pushed them aside. Talking with Kalia and Muriella, excuse me, is giving me a completely different way of seeing the world. Feels a lot like falling, but also breaking free all at once. And with their help, I know I'll land in a better place. And yeah, I love this, by the way. I love that Muriella, the other Scarlet with a brain, is talking with Elise, along with Kalia. You know, the undead.
Baladash, Malanore.
There you go. Hey, Malar. Have Uther's kit. This is just such a cut, isn't it?
Remember the Sunwell.
For years, I was bitter with Uther for having trained Arthas, but he forgave me. Even that upset me. Since then, I've done my best to serve the light, but I've carried much disappointment and remnants of bitterness from the suffering I've seen. Entrusting me with Uther's kit may yet do one more act of healing. Let's see. Where's Talia and Valene?
Stand with me.
I'm going to give her Marad's meditation crystal.
May Tyr take your hand.
Marad was a hero to our people. I can feel his light. It still remains in the crystal. We'll give Talia Talia, I don't think really has much of a position. I mean, she's called the Pallid Lady, but I don't actually remember right now because I'm in tremendous pain. But I don't remember. Is she part of the Forsaken Council right now? I think she is. Okay, she is on the council. So she is one of the representatives of the Forsaken people right now. Yeah, by the way, the Forsaken... I think we actually double-checked this, are actually the first of the major races factions to go full democratic, like representative democracy instead of, you know, military dictatorship. Isn't that kind of funny? I think that's funny. It makes sense, too, though. It's not just like hee-hee, but no, it makes perfect sense. Of course, the undead who suffered under the first Lich King, and then the second Lich King, and then Sylvanas, twice, would want to shy away from any strong, big dictatorial leaders, right? Yeah, exactly. When you go through that many bad monarchs in a row, it's like, all right, hold up. Let's try something else.
What's the situation?
Gelbin was elected, but he is still a dictator. Which I know sounds strange, but I guess that's kind of an asterisk-y territory. Because you're right, he is an elected monarch.
Farewell, friend.
It's unbelievable. This is my grandmother. She watched over refugees fleeing from Stormwind to Lordaeron. The stories about her inspired me to take up the light. I never knew her, but I will treasure this. Thank you. And Salandria. I'm going to give her sword.
Don't worry, I'll be fine.
Thank you. I can feel its energy already. I'll use it well. Velen, how are things going?
We welcome your help. Thank you, champion. We are resolute in our defense, but mortal in our constitutions. These relics will bolster us for a time.
The Forsaken are once again in a state where they can no longer replenish their numbers. They are a dying race, put simply. I actually strongly suspect... Like, let me phrase this differently. If I was Metzen, I would take that story arc somewhere. I'm not sure where, but I'd think about it. At this point in history, there's no one that I can think of who has the combination of knowledge, power, and motivation to create free-willed undead anymore. Like, in general. So...
With the relics delivered, the Sunwell is safe, for now. Are you a seeker of light, or darker paths?
Okay.
The past...
I think I have failed, Arator. In my attempt to steady him after the incident with his father, I may have shattered his faith with the uncomfortable truths of the light. I would like to consult with the wisest person I know, Sunwalker Desco, who is freaking awesome. I did not see him with the Vanguard. Tyrosus told me he might be in Hammerfall, providing aid to the displaced.
I spoke to you of finding a different path, Arator. I think it's time we started on it.
All right, but if this lesson is anything like the others...
Oh, don't worry. This one won't be imparted by me. We will accomplish much together.
Thank you for the teleport. We can speed this up a little bit. Yeah, who would want to make another undead? That's a valid point, honestly. The interesting thing is the most likely way for that story to go is for the undead to be, for lack of a better way to put this, cured. The problem with that is all of the interesting story ideas of the Forsaken go out the window the moment they become cured.
Hammerfall? Is this about the Red Dawn?
Quite the opposite. We're going to see someone who is doing something wonderful. Something I failed to accomplish.
One moment. This post is being stubborn. Val! What brings you and your friends to Hammerfall? Please tell me the world isn't ending again.
By the way, I love Desco's new look. Can I just say that? It's kind of hard to see because he's an animation, but he just looks badass.
The light guides us.
Anshe has guided you to us. Care to join us in our work?
Help however you can.
Residents of Hammerfall have been focused on daily life, defense, and survival over the past months. They have not had sufficient time, or frankly, numbers, to address all the harms that were done. There's much we can do to help them get back on their feet. I know this is humble work, but it makes a very real difference to the orcs who live here.
Look for me among those in need.
The people of Hammerfall were attacked not so long ago by saboteurs from a group called the Red Dawn. I am working to help them recover and rebuild from that attack with my fellow Sunwalkers, Malu and Nadura. One thing they have been doing is gathering supplies needed by Hammerfall's crafters from various sources. If you could deliver these supplies, it would be of great help.
Hunger and poverty are the most... My friend, if you could help with the cleanup and deliveries, Arator can help me with some work that needs another pair of hands.
If you'll all excuse me, I must find Eitrig. There are some things I need to arrange.
Eitrig is the other awesome dude here in this quest chain. I'll gush about him later. But yeah, for those of you who don't remember, there was an entire quest chain in Arathi in War Within about the Red Dawn. It was shockingly good. It was one of those quest chains I didn't expect to be good in general, and then turned out to be just amazing. Highly recommended. Or watching my stream of it. Or both. So the strongest mortal light wielder. Honestly, it probably is Velen. Velen's kind of crazy in the light. And again, he has the discipline and wisdom, experience, to temper that.
What are you looking for?
Disco sent these supplies. Perfect.
For the Horde.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, this Mirror's turn. So yeah, Sylvanas is...
Dabu.
I'm pretty sure Sylvanas is technically just straight up alive right now. She happens to be in the mod, but I mean, we went to the mod. We were alive. Like, she has both ports of her soul, and her body has been reconstructed. So...
What are you looking for? Be safe.
What's funny is the only reason we know that Draenei age at all is because we've seen young...
Greetings.
We've seen younger Velen. And he did look younger. Barely. 20,000 years and he barely aged. I am taking a well-deserved break. I've been working hard with Desco and Malo for longer than I would like. Although Desco and Malo seem satisfied and content to be laborers, I am not. I do not walk the path of the sun to haul rubble and rebuild structures. I am a sunwalker. My faith in Anshe and my hammer are tools to wield, not a mallet and a shovel. In a world besieged by darkness, we are meant to be rays of sunlight. This is not where I'd like to be right now. Good. You can also just leave Hammerfall if you click that, by the way.
Speak.
She might be a perfect undead, too. Sylvanas. Because we know there's that perfect type of undead with all the benefits and none of the detriments. Callie is one of those, too.
Greetings.
I understand, Fowl. I'll gather the others and wait for your arrival.
Yeah, I've noticed Anshe has been brought up a lot more lately. Like, anybody who knows the lore has remembered Anshe for a while. But... let's be honest, how many players, like what percent of WoW players even know what Anshe is? Right, what is the wrong one? Who, right? Someone I'm missing. Where's the other dude? There's the other dude. Mr. Red talked to someone, and I don't know where they are now. I gotta find them. Hang on. Ah, thank you.
How may I aid you?
So, don't feel like you have better things to do here? Disco has taught me much out here. Just as no ray of sunlight is insignificant in the open wilderness, no small amount of work we do is unworthy. Besides, it is not for us to deem what work is worthy and unworthy of carrying out the light of Anshe. Working alongside him here, I have found that helping those in need is the most rewarding work that I do.
Farewell.
Ugh, seriously, Star. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but ugh, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm grateful for your assistance. Help however you can. Look for me among those in need.
Perfect, Spartan. Now that Hammerfall can expect peace with Stromgarde, there's a lot more use in being able to farm and craft than in fighting. So we've been gathering old weapons from past skirmishes to make into tools for the people of Hammerfall. Would you and Arator be willing to give me a hand?
The discarded weapons of past wars litter the fields and complicate farming. If you would gather what you can, Arator and I will prepare the forge. Help is
But I hear a Sawal.
Is this what it means to be a Sunwalker?
For some. Others are content to smite the wicked with a giant hammer. But allowing the innocent to suffer, that is the worst evil.
This isn't the type of thing the Silver Hand gets involved in, is it?
Alonsis has told me how he always intended for the Silver Hand to focus on this kind of service. But war changed what his paladins were called to do. Alonsis tells me stories of his first students. The legendary Uther was apparently quite the nurse. I would have liked to meet the man during that time.
My father was one of those students. He's never mentioned any of this to me.
I don't know the High Exarch well. I do know he's been to other worlds, far from here, fighting for an unimaginable amount of time.
Yeah, 30 years.
We're shaped by the events in our lives, but we can choose how we will live going forward. What type of paladin do you want to be, Arator? What type of person?
I want to come back here and help you once this war has ended. I think this is as much my calling as facing down the horrors of the Void.
Anyways, World of Warcraft, am I right? Ugh. Sorry. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that Arator is just so happy to be doing some honest-to-goodness good. Especially when he's in the middle of a crisis of faith. I don't know if there is a canon order. I prefer to do Zulaman and then Harandar and then Arator. But due to real-life complications, Arator is by far the shortest of those three. So we're doing that today, because I want to get that done in one bundle. I don't like to split those up if I can avoid it. Interesting. I mean, there's no real bad choice here. I'm just doing this out of necessity, rather than choice. Ah, almost. There we go. I mean, realistically speaking, we probably won't see much of Arator after this. Most main characters usually don't stick around more than one expansion.
We'll make something useful out of this refuse. The light guides us. Hunger and poverty are the most dangerous villains.
God, ain't that the truth?
Light bless you, friend.
I've asked the Sons of Lothar to meet us in the Burning Steps near Blackrock Mountain. There's one more item we must recover. We can depart as soon as you're ready.
The only thing under your control. I must now steal Arator and the champion away. Arrangements have been made to find one last relic.
Thank you, Desco. I really admire what you're doing here. I'll be sure to return.
We will accomplish much together.
I really hope... I hope Braun comes back, but I really hope Dagran comes back in Northrend. Because, yeah, Dagran... For those of you who don't remember, Braun wasn't actually a character until Northrend, until Wrath. Now, he was mentioned all the way back in Vanilla, but he was like... He was like that Mew under the bus in Pokemon Red. Right? He was the realm of myth and player rumor. There were references to him periodically. He was a part of a couple of quest chains in terms of references, but like he wasn't actually in the game at all. I don't think he was. Oh god, now I'm questioning myself.
Foul! Why'd you bring us back to this desolate place?
So here's an interesting arrangement. Eitrig, Daneth, Kurdran, and Arator representing Turelion, and Alonzus. Yeah.
Always welcome at my side.
How did an orc get involved with the Sons of Lothar? I fought here with Doomhammer against Lothar's army all those years ago. It's quite strange to be working with those who bear his name, to be working with humans at all. But it was a human strangeness that changed things for me, Tyrion Fordring. All I knew of humans was that they hated my people for the war we brought to their lands, but where others saw nothing more than an animal to be hunted, Fordring saw something else. He showed me kindness and compassion, even after we tried to kill each other during our first encounter. Through Tyrion, I saw humans are no different than orcs. Some have honor, many do not. Over time, I've seen the Sons of Lothar are amongst those that do, and I think Tyrion would agree.
Always welcome with the Sons of Lothar.
Stromgarde will stand proud once more.
Yeah, by the way, I really like that Eitrig actually has the title of Sons of Lothar. And that is to say, the guild tag. Because it means, I think this happened during the Christmas book, if I'm remembering correctly, but it means he has been more or less formally inducted into the order, and that's kind of awesome. You will be hard-pressed to find any other orc who's more deserving of that than Eitrig.
Light bless you, friend. We are on a hunt for artifacts to support the defenders at Silvermoon.
The only holy artifact here is...
Oh, you must be joking!
The Dark Horde will have taken the fragments, divided it up amongst themselves as a trophy.
Well, ain't that lovely? Come on, lads. Time for a difficult walk down memory lane. Azeroth calls, and we must answer.
Seems we have more to do here than just finding a relic. This area is overrun with a group that calls themselves the Dark Horde. They're from frickin' Vanilla. They shouldn't be here anymore.
For Stromgarde.
I once served under Blackhand long ago. His son Rend was a sniveling fool. A coward who bolstered himself at the Spire after Doomhammer was defeated. He made deal with dragons, called himself War Chief, proclaimed his Dark Horde the true Horde. Puh. This Dark Horde embraces the ideals of a past long gone. Ren died years ago in Vanilla, but there are still orcs and ogres who cling to the rotting husk that remains. If they haven't seen the truth by now, there's little hope for them but death.
Until we meet again.
See, the thing here is, we did wipe out the Dark Horde. Twice. Once in Vanilla, which just, admittedly, I'll give you is vague. But then, definitively, during Cataclysm. I don't blame you for not remembering what this zone was, because the Burning Steppes was a very basic zone in terms of story. But the whole story here was that Eitrig and, I can't remember his name, the Colonel on the human side, both were working together and were like, all right, let's kill them all. Because there was this, okay, so there was this whole invasion that was getting prepped for them to charge into Redwood Mountains. If you did the Redwood Mountain quest chain in Cataclysm, the whole quest chain, other than jokes and references, was about how the Dark Horde was getting ready to invade the mountain. So we beat them back there, and then that group goes north, and for various reasons, they don't have the resources or manpower to actually fight back against them. So the two leaders, Eitrig and Colonel What's-His-Face, take us and say, all right, let's sabotage the ever-living piss out of them. And when I say sabotage, I mean wiped out all of their troops inside of Blackrock Stronghold, turned their own pieces against them, summoned a demon lord on their faces, and then, oh, look, it's the dragon that's come to save us all. That's us. We were on the dragon. It was a red dragon that we painted black to come and murder the rest of them. They're dead. I don't even care. It was a great quest chain that this thing spits on. Negative to story, moving on. The one thing that gets worse is the only thing worse than seeing this Dark Horde here is their banners. It showcases their pride in this accursed mountain as a place of greatness, as a place for their horde to rise. In reality, this banner is little more than a defiled perversion of the ancestral Blackrock sigil. Burn down everyone you find.
Dabu.
One of their lieutenants, Markhag, appears to be the one barking orders. His father, High Overlord Omok, followed under Ren's banner. Cruel and vicious, no surprise his son follows in his footsteps. Taking Markhag down will spread chaos amongst the cowardly remnants of the Dark Horde, and perhaps help them realize they're not as strong as they think. Fowl also told us to look for relic fragments. See if he has anything, and if it does, bring it back.
Come, Kurdran. We should scout out the other Dark Horde encampments.
The Dark Horde! They're stuck trying to win the second war while we've made peace on the fourth! Get with the times!
Part of the problem I have with this entire quest chain, and I've already mentioned it because 2/3 of... No, that's not true. 100% of the story negatives I've given this game so far are for Arator's story arc. Think about that for a second. 100%. There's some really good stuff in this quest chain, to be clear. It is obviously net positive, there's some good character stuff for Arator, and there's some good world-building stuff here and there. The problem is it feels way too member berries.
Though he has rarely talked to me about it.
A lot of this whole quest chain is, hey, member. Hey, member. And honestly, it doesn't do enough with them to make it worthwhile. And that's my big problem with it. They haven't told us yet, Mockingbirds. I know, of course, but they haven't told us. We'll get to it, don't worry. It is significant. And that's the part that irritates me the most. If this was just a bad quest chain, I could just dismiss it and be like, yeah, it's dumb. But the problem is, not only is this a good quest chain, but it's going to lead to something really freaking awesome. Sorry for spoiling. And yeah, it is thematically significant. This quest chain is all about the bad old days. East Hope Chapel, that's just a giant open sore, right? Scarlet Crusade, enough said. Going down and dealing with all of the troubles in Arathi, that's only recently gotten to the point where it's not a constant boiling situation.
This is one of the fragments that we're looking for. Might have been from a piece of armor or a shield.
And then, of course, we have these yahoos. I suppose at the end of the day, my irritation is not the fact that they brought back the Dark Horde or the Scarlet Crusade, because those things could have been made to work.
Anduin Lothar fell in battle. My father rallied the Alliance to victory.
Problem is, I don't think it did. I think this feels the most thrown together of the quest arcs. So the reason I focus in on them doing this is because if they didn't have the time to polish this to perfection, what they probably should have done is use someone else. I mean, people in chat already said it. Just use the Red Dawn. right? You can still discuss the history of the Scarlet Crusade while discussing the Red Dawn, since the Red Dawn basically just absorbed the Scarlet Crusade. And these guys, these are just leftover bandits. Don't even mention the Dark Order. If you do, just bring it up in context with Black Hand, and more accurately, Rend. Details matter. Forgive me for sounding dour. I'm pretty net positive on the story arc. It's just, this was the least enjoyable story beat in the entire game, excuse me, in the entire expansion for me. So enjoy those story negatives, that you're not going to see many others.
The Dark Horde seems traumatized by this battle. They remain here and fight a war long lost.
Yeah, bad old days, as we just mentioned. You see what I mean? Like, even as I'm bashing this section, the game is doing a pretty good job of establishing how much this is thematically appropriate. Ooh.
Left behind this dark past long ago. If only everyone here had come with us.
I like that idea, Ismiristar. Leftover Iron Horde and leftover Dark Horde. Maybe even call themselves the True Horde, right? Just go all in on it. Capital T, True Horde. I could see that working.
What do you need? Good to see you here, champion.
Perhaps in the face of death of their comrades, others will see sense as I did. At least those you killed won't dishonor themselves anymore.
Champion, speak and fill your tankard with me, old friend.
I hope that this might demoralize some of these soldiers out of their misguided devotion towards a failed cause. Regardless, I am glad those banners are not flying any longer.
Blood and thunder, strength, peace, and honor.
As we defeat their leaders, the Dark Horde present throughout the steppes will continue to splinter. Markag was the first to fall. This is a good first step.
May your blades never dull.
When the Alliance originally fought the Horde here, Kurdran served as a scout. He's still an excellent one. He took his griffin to Blackrock Mountain to see what kind of forces we might be dealing with there. Meet up with him, see what kind of trouble you can cause.
Kurdran flew to the entrance of Blackrock's spire, champion. He's tracked down the next fragment.
The Dark Horde displays them like trophies, but the only thing they mark is loss.
That sounds about right. For the Dark Horde. You can call him that.
Ah, wee bit stuffy in here, isn't it?
How have you kept at it for so long, Kurdran?
The open skies of the hinterlands.
Seen a lot of dark times. Whole lot of them. Flying does me a lot of good for sure, but not everybody has a griffin. If you don't, you gotta find out what your griffin is. For me, jokes help. If you kinda laugh in the hard times, well, we're gonna run into them. You may as well laugh. And a pint with friends makes any problem seem smaller. The friends even more than the pints. And sometimes you just gotta move forward towards an open sky, ready or not. Great dialogue, by the way.
Council of Three Hammers requires me presence, but I'd rather be riding me griffin.
Blackrock Mountain is where most of the Dark Horde is holed up. All their unit commanders adorned themselves with badges, strutting about like they won them in the Second War. Shameful. Gives me an idea, though. Defeat them and take their badges. They can't have no leaders that way. These blowhards love the pomp of command. Who wants the stress of leadership and no fancy badge to wear? Head on in there, keep them busy. I'll support you from the air. Oh, the Dark Horde maybe strut around like the mountain, but an orc called Nagosh is the one ruling this roost. He barks orders and charges straight into the fight. Rockhead's in command, like all the ones that are getting everyone on like, all sides getting... Hang on, I read it wrong. Rockhead's in command like that one are what gets everyone on all sides killed. I bet anything that numbskull claimed foul shiny relic. Keep an eye out, he may jump you in the middle of a fight. The Dark Horde have no love for their equipment. Look at their weapons. Cracked, rusted, blunt, and bent. Ugh! Only way they function is by making more shoddy tools to replace the broken ones. If you see any of their weapon racks, destroy them. Let's see how well they fight with rusty blades. A bare-fisted orc is nothing to sneeze at, but it'll delay any daft plans they've got.
The orcs in the mountain don't just have a fragment. They're also stockpiling weapons. Seems like a good chance to smash things up if you ask me. Let me know if you want me to join in the fun.
I do like fun joining. Thank you, Mockingbirds. I've actually practiced it quite a bit, so I should hope so at this point. Oh god, probably is Mirstar. Ding! Hey, Gratzman! You'll hear my troll accent hopefully tomorrow when we finally do Zulamon. What's our talent? Ah! Hero talent. Yes.
Why did Fowl bring me here? There has to be something he hasn't told me about this relic.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm sure it's nothing incredibly personal and a great character beat. And a fantastic cutscene that's going to be like more than triple positive territory. See, this is part of why I don't hate this story beat. Because everything about the quests are reasonably well constructed, right? These are idiots. These are leftovers and refuse. Wielding badges that they don't even know what they are as a sign of station. And wielding weapons that have fallen apart decades ago.
Reliving the Second War just like the Sons of Lothar.
Like, these guys are bandits, whatever they call themselves.
The Eternal Sun guides us.
The only reason they were ever going to be causing any problem for Red Ridge was because they had the backing of the Black Flight. That was explicitly during Cataclysm. The Black Flight is, well, I don't want to say gone, but the organization that was the Black Flight is gone. That's probably a simple way to phrase that. No, I like gone. The new Black Flight is, let's be clear, a different flight. It's a different group. Bold mistake to challenge me here. Hey, have some fun, Kurgan. Yeah, exactly, as Mirstar. I bet you money.
Like a piece of an old shield. Odd for him to be lugging that around.
I bet you money that if this group of brigands has periodically been poking their heads into Red Ridge, and then poking their heads right back out.
I've studied the Second War, but to everyone here, it's more than history. They lived through it.
Yep. And let me tell you, those expansion missions sucked. Oh my god. I would say extremely likely, Spur. Yeah, no, when we do our review of Warcraft 2, I'm like 99% certain we're going to cheat. And I'm not ashamed of that. Because I've played Warcraft 2 before, and I have never beaten that expansion without cheating. Not once. Offer key shards. What? There we go.
This whole expedition has something to do with my father, doesn't it?
No.
It'd take a hand's worth of these hill dwarves to bring one from the area down.
How'd you get their badges? Oh, that gave him a kick in the pants. See if any of them volunteered to lead their warbands now after that humiliation. Should put a stop to the gosh. Well, you got his relic. I hope that priest knows what he's doing. Just throw their whip in the racks. Well, that'll do. We brought everyone a few months of peace while they resupply. As much as I'd love to keep harassing the Dark Horde grunts, We found the relic piece that Fel wanted us to. We best be getting home. Doneth would look for the lost piece. If you go find him, I'll tell the Mod Bishop his plan is nearly complete. Find me at the statue when you're done.
This is Foul's third lesson. What have you old meddlers got planned for me?
Lad, you don't seriously expect me to spoil his schemes? I'd never hear the end of it.
I found the leader of the Dark Horde. She has the final fragment.
We will fight for what is ours.
Lore Runner, Arator, good to see you. I believe I have a solution for our problem.
For the Alliance.
I'll kill these two. Despite our work in the area, the Dark Horde continues to battle. Their leaders here in the Blackrock stronghold, likely bolstering their spirits. Take them out. Once we do, I suspect this Dark Horde will come to nothing, with much less bloodshed. And Foul thinks there might be a fragment of the relic there. We'll recover that too. The remaining Dark Horde forces are gathered here. Many of them look to be untrained and new to the cause. Drive away the fourth is gathered here. Maybe we can hope to see some peace in this region. The first time in decades.
The Dark Horde prepares to raid another border settlement. Get that last shield fragment and scatter their troops.
Correct. This is all MSQ.
Ended decades ago. I won't let them shatter the peace you bled for.
And yeah, they're even raiding. Bugs. I think part of the problem I have with this is the logistics of this also make absolutely no sense. Not to put too fine a point on it, where are they getting recruits from? How are they feeding themselves? Like, you know, people don't just pop out of the ground. Well, these people don't just pop out of the ground. Oh, they're all dead. Next. I am the warlord of the Dark Horde. Is that fell energy coming out of your eyes? Yeah. Oh, well, at least that's the worst thing you can do to me. Actually, I could turn into a demon. Oh. Okay. What's happening to my soul? Don't worry about it.
The final shield fragment. And I think I know whose it was.
If I might be so bold, the problem here is that Warcraft has almost never concerned itself with logistics. And I actually think that's to its detriment. For an entire setting focused so much on war, logistics is kind of a big deal. And I don't know about you guys, but good logistics writing...
You figured out why Foul's brought you here.
...can really help cement a story. And make it feel a lot more interesting, grounded, etc.
Whatever comes, we will face it together.
Excellent. I believe this will save many lives across the region. With no warlord to rally, the Dark Horde should fall apart.
My life for the Alliance.
We've killed many of them, but I watch even more run away. Let's hope they never return.
Azeroth calls.
With their leader defeated and the third relic found, we should regroup with the others back at Lothar's statue. I'll meet you there.
We each...
This is my father's shield, isn't it? How did it break?
I still have nightmares about that time. After all I've seen, I still dream about this place.
Yeah. No, absolutely, Esmeristar. And it's funny because in this really horrible way, the Alliance is best defined by Warcraft 2. No, think about it for a minute. Really, think about it. Warcraft 3 kind of moved away from the Alliance existing, for lack of a better way to put that. One of the primary enemy groups of Warcraft 3 was consistent of members of what used to be the Alliance. And a huge story point of Warcraft 3 was the Alliance was already shattering. The only reason World of Warcraft had an Alliance at all was because the developers played Dark Age of Camelot.
If the boy has all the fragments of the shield, we can begin.
Are you a seeker of light? As you have guessed, that is your father's shield, broken into fragments and left on the field of battle.
The Council of Three Hammers requires me presence, but I'd rather be riding me griffin.
This statue seems out of place here. Nothing else like it. But this is where Anduin Lothar fell against Orgrim Doomhammer at the Battle of Blackrock Mountain. Many fought on this field, and many didn't make it. Lothar... Let me tell you what happened all those years ago.
Ah, a wee bit stuffy in here, isn't it? It was nearly 30 years ago, at the height of the Second War. The Battle of Blackrock Mountain. History books say we won the battle. All I remember is loss.
Your father, Taralius, was squire to Anduin Lothar, our leader.
Our brother.
Taralian seemed invincible. His shield, his resolve, never wavered. Until... his light failed.
No, it didn't fail. It turned into something else. Lothar's death broke something deep within Taralion. Something, lad, that's never really healed.
My favorite tiny detail. We've never had cause to question why Tarelion uses a broken sword, where half of the sword is infused with the light. He just showed up like that in Legion. You remember that? He was just there with that sword. And I was like, okay, that's some light-forged sword he had. They didn't need to explain that. But they did. And this is just such a fantastic way of showcasing this concept. Honestly, if it was known, that's news to me. But then again, I kind of stopped reading the books at a certain point.
Hello. Weird, I had no idea. I didn't realize what my father went through. I think I'd like to fix this shield and return it to him.
That is an excellent idea.
It'd take a hand's worth of these hill dwarves to bring
whoops.
one from the Airy down.
It's a tragic story, but maybe something better can be made of it with the fragments of the shield. Perhaps it can be restored, along with our friend. Tarelion isn't like a real-life character. He's from Warcraft. He's better than real life people. He is a broken person who is turned to the only thing that actually helped him. And that's after having been turned into a war machine twice. When I kept discussing Turellian, I kept discussing him in the context of the Legion and the 30 Years' War that he fought against them. It's worth noting, Turellian fought in the Second War. And the Second War... One of the things I think that WoW has done very well is it has done a good job of emphasizing just how big of a deal the Second War was. Like, it was a landslide that just ran over the world. Right? Thank you for your help, Lorona. It's strange to hold what remains of my father's shield and know that prior to that day, he was such a defender of others. I feel I've only seen his aggressive side. I realize he means well, but I don't think... That is not the path for me. Regardless, let's return to Silvermoon and get these fragments we've gathered to a worthy forge.
If I repair the shield, maybe it can remind my father of the kind of paladin he wanted to be.
Fowl, I hope you know what you're doing.
Yeah, that'd be nice. No, absolutely, Asmira. Like I said, you know what the identity... I said this earlier. The identity of the Alliance is the Second War. Straight up.
Please, join me at the forge. I'll need your help with the shield.
We can fix our mistakes.
It's time to see what we can do with these fragments. While it did break, it was exceptionally powerful in its day. And it could be a great help to Turellian against the Void. Perhaps a moment of healing and letting go as well.
My friend, I was just...
I'll pull Turellian away from his duties. They're not an easy feat by any means. It will give Arator time to finish reforging his father's shield. He could use your assistance.
Him.
Yeah? Okay then. Let's do this. I'll hammer, you control the heat.
God damn it. It's another one of these quests.
Add some worm dust to make it more powerful.
Now add some worm dust to make it more powerful. Now add some worm dust to make it more powerful.
Pour some water on the shield to cool it. I need another steel ingot. Add a phoenix feather to increase the heat.
My son. Arator, I was hoping to... that we could...
Father, I know you'd never willingly hurt me, but in that moment, you lost control.
Could you ever forgive me?
I think it's time you forgave yourself. I know what happened the day Lothar fell. The guilt, the rage you've carried all these years. It's time to let it go.
My shield. How did you...
Take it up again. Be the paladin you were born to be.
I can't. That part of me died with Lothar.
But not all of you. Don't give up hope, Father.
My son, some things can't ever be redeemed.
My favorite part about this is that he is not redeemed, that he's not ready, that he doesn't take up the shield.
Why do you still have the shield? Didn't you give it to your father?
So, I don't want to preface too much, but all I'm saying is, if they decide to kill off Turellian at this point in his story arc, it would fit. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
What do you want? I did. He said, some things can't ever be redeemed, and refused it.
That's disappointing. I had hoped for a different reaction.
So did I. But a wise man once told me, I can't change anything but how I feel. So I'm going to focus on that. My father may not be ready to change, but I am.
Arator, light be praised. Perhaps this all happened for a reason.
I just need to figure out what to do with this shield.
I could use a hot meal and a drink while you ponder. Come with us, lad. You too, champion.
I must return to the Sunwell. The Vanguard needs my counsel.
Not go as I hoped, to say the least. I'd hoped he'd be able to see, to accept he could still change, but it doesn't look like he's open to that. At least, not now. Oh, and here's the outer cantina. Which I'm just going to accept that quest real quick.
Honestly, Arator, we've wanted to show you the place for some time. Glad to finally get the chance.
Yeah, exactly as Miristar. And, well, there's other stuff I'm not talking about. So there's the key to the Arcantina. I'm actually going to wait on that, because I want to show off the Arcantina. And I just got called away to dinner. So I'm going to get called away to dinner, so I can go get called away to dinner.